your children are turned into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why? $22 million in 3 fucking hours!
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's right.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
We back.
Bang,
Tuesday.
bang, bang.
What's up,
guys?
boys?
What's up, Don? You good, man? When was the last time we streamed together?
Last week.
I
guess it would have been early last week because you're streaming. You're doing the early week, so it would have been. Let's see. We got Perps Pad. We got Prism. Prism making a comeback. V2. And we got Delta coming on. So we got the whole.
Been trying to tell y'all. I've been trying to tell y'all a little bit about Prism, man. Oof. Y'all haven't seen me in my bag working era yet. You guys really haven't. So, let me share my screen.
Which we got to touch on today, man. I put out a tweet, and I think you want to talk about it a little bit. Like, are the trenches dead? Is it thesis bad? Buy and whole season? I think so. I think so.
Yeah. It's definitely conviction bag work season. I think there's always going to be room for degens to degen, pump fund, random sub 50K runners will appear. But I think if you really want to be long-term sustainable when it comes to trading, I think thesis driven, conviction driven is going to be the way. I think the market is now separating itself and creating a few, I guess you can say trading, a few trading categories. So there's your long-term investor that used to be, hey, throw your money at a top 500 altcoin and cool. You'll be good when alt season hits. Whereas now it's like, no, you actually have to look in. Either you get something that's higher cap, like a grass, if you're interested in that, or a hyperliquid more so, or a near or a Zec,
Litecoin, lighter.
or lighter. Like that would be your more higher cap plays, but you still need to be selective there. That's also going to be conviction driven, thesis driven. You can't just throw money at the wall. So that's on the long-term investor side. On the mid-cap side, you have like these on-chain tokens that are over the long term look very well. Like MetaDAO, for example, their token Meta is a perfect example of that. Just on-chain. There, I know Cred is doing well. There's going to be some of these like mid caps that run, or I should say like midterm plays, like not long term, not short term, but like something you can hold for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe even a year. And then you have on the fast money side, you have your short term, which is the trenches, which is your pump fund sub 50K. I think the short term is for wealth generation or wealth destruction, depending on how you play it. The midterm is for wealth multiplication, and then the long term is for just amplification and long term generational wealth, and long term growth. So I think that's how the market is splitting up. But it's all thesis driven, though. It's all thesis driven. I think short term money will always react to a tweet or an influencer or whatever. But I think over the long term, the longer term you view and want to survive for, the higher your conviction is going to need to be.
Yeah, I guess my point with this whole thing is like it's buy and hold season, it's dip buy season. And I had a friend the other day, we had this conversation. He came to me and said like, man, trenching is just difficult right now. Like they've solved the game's solved for it. And I'm like, game's not solved for it. You're just playing the wrong game. And like some people do great at trenching when the ceilings are a little bit lower and you're buying coins and you're flipping them at 100K to 500K to $1 million. And then some people thrive in I'm buying the dip and I'm holding this from $1 million to 10 million. Right. So what's the difference here? It's like you kind of had two buckets. You can trench, your hit rate's going to be super low. You're going to get rugged. You're dealing with a lot of LARPs and you're flipping almost same day every single time, same couple hours in most cases. And so the pros and cons there is it's quick, it's in and out, but you're also going to get rugged a lot of the time. And the issue with trenching is you actually mostly don't see these tokens through fruition because you get in so early and there's like this information gap. There's not enough information out about the token. You're scrambling to figure out what happens. You're playing conservatively to take profits off the table because we know 90% of these are rugging. And so, even if you do get like, there's just different games. You have to identify what season and cycle of the market you're in to really determine what you want to play. I would not be looking at the trenches right now. Like I wouldn't even be looking at anything until after it's had its first initial pump, hype cycle, shelf life. Like that's
I will say, I will want to caveat that with there is a way to play the trenches. There is a way, like Dom said, kind of wait for the initial run, wait for things to cool off, for bundles or whatever to sell off. But I think trenching right now is the most profitable it's ever been, or not ever been, the most profitable it's been in the last, let's say, 10 months. You've been like really like trenching new pairs over the last 10 months. You're pretty much just like throwing money and giving money to the market, and giving money to serial deployers and whatnot. But like, I don't know. I haven't really been on absolute new pairs. I really like.
That's what I'm referring to when I say trenching.
Yeah.
It's like pre-bond, just graduated.
Oh yeah. I don't even play pre-bond, bro. Like I'm a little bit different. Late early can be $1 million market cap on a runner that's already like went from 0 to $1 million, but it's like, wow, this is really early. So I'm gonna go ahead and like, catch that now. Or like late early could be, something like, late early right now is Prism. Prism right now is late early. Like it's already has it, but it's already had its community. It has its traction. There's excitement around the token itself. So, there's more. Essentially what you want to do is just give yourself more of a foundation to stand on. The less foundation you have, the less of a thesis you have, the less kind of like signal you have, the more kind of conviction, the more vision you'll have to have. But that also introduces more emotions into the trade. So that emotion will lead to taking profits at the wrong points and all that good stuff.
Totally agree. I mean, it's the biggest thing in trading is psychology. You know, back in the old days when I used to trade other markets for a firm, the biggest things my mentors would always say is just like you almost have to be robotic. Like, I'm not sure if you guys see my Bitcoin chart, and I'll tab to it because we're going to talk about macro here if we get a second. But like, it literally comes down to psychology all the time. I mean, even to the point where my candlesticks are black and white rather than red and green, purely just because red and green comes with like an emotional baggage, right? You see red, you get scared, you get nervous, it's going down. Green, oh, things are going up and down. So like, this is maybe a silly example. You don't need to change your freaking candlestick colors to black and white, but it comes down to the psychological aspect of trading, which is like you will react differently if you just lost 5 trades. But realistically, if you have a consistent, tried and true strategy, you should be reacting the exact same on trade number 6, even if you've been robbed 5 times, versus if you've just made 5 incredibly profitable trades. And that's where people go wrong. It's just like they lose the psychology factor of the whole thing. It really is a math game when you break it down to it, right? What's your win percentage? How often you're winning? How much are you winning for? When you're losing, how much are you losing for? And once you get that math figured out, you literally just play the edge. It's just like a casino in the sense that there's a house edge. And if you have an edge, you just play that edge. And so you can't be reacting off of the previous trade you made or the trade you missed or the trade you hit. And so it is all a psychology game. We don't need to get too much into the psychological weeds, but I would recommend every trader takes psychology seriously. Go read a book on it. There's plenty of trading books that talk about psychology, but it is just as important as like execution, to be honest. But Nolas, you want to do a quick little
what's your macro take, bro? You mentioned you had a macro take.
I'll give macro take. Maybe we can do housekeeping after. If you guys follow my Twitter, I gave a full breakdown. You should definitely go watch on there. But let me give a quick little macro take because Bitcoin looks really great, and I haven't whipped out this colorful chart in a long time, but let me do so. Okay, if you've been following me, you've probably seen this this chart before in the past. It's basically highlighting the life cycle of every single Bitcoin 4-year cycle to date. Okay, I think it's very, very key to pay attention to because we're starting to see a lot of these signs that come at the bottom. And you guys know I've been calling for a bottom here for the last couple of weeks and months. And I think if we're not already bottomed out, we're at or around that zone here. So let me just cover this real quick and a few takeaways. I have let's do this. So here are the takeaways you guys want to be looking at. First and foremost, bottom signals are flashing all over. From a timing perspective, from a pullback perspective, from a contraction and expansion perspective, from every single perspective you want to look. In November of 2021, the previous year we got a top, or let's say 2017, right? Top came in December of 2017. The 4-year cycle pursued, same old, same old. The next top came in November 2021. 1 month previous to the past top. Then this recent cycle came in October, 1 month previous to the past top. So we're seeing every single cycle is starting to get front run by about a month. Sophisticated traders are coming in. And so this was a month earlier than the previous one. This was 2 months earlier than the previous one. I'm assuming the next one will be even more like 3, 4, 5 months earlier as these cycles begin to compress a little bit. Another note to take is look at what price and spreads of these candles look like at the bottom. Look how little volume we have here, right? You kind of get these big sell-off events, FTX going under 1010, whatever it might be, this big capitulation event that typically marks like the last major capitulation before the bottom. And then we wait for interest and buyers to step in. And in that time, we see lots of accumulation. Look at the spreads on these candles, right? Look at the spreads on these candles, nice and long, versus these candles, really short, really small. Right. And that's when you start seeing accumulation happen, lack of sellers and buyers stepping in. We go back to previous cycle. Again, same thing kind of happened. Right. Look at the spreads on these candles. Of course, COVID was a whole beast in of itself, but look at the spreads on these candles. Spreads compress before taking off. If I go to the time frame right now, what's happening here on Bitcoin? Right. The character of these candlesticks is completely changing. Whereas these spreads were much bigger on this entire leg down. We got 1010 here, or I guess 1010 would have been back here. Further capitulation. Now we're starting to see this very tight range on Bitcoin. Of course, it happens to coincide with the drawdown and pullback and timing that we've seen in every previous cycle. Of course, we can go back here. This ADP and Sage. I'm not sure if you guys want to add PFPs or something just to kind of help people identify who you are. that would be great. But Chill, maybe do some quick housekeeping.
Yeah, I'm talking with the. We got the perps team in the perps pad team in the background, so I'm just helping them get ready. But while they get themselves ready, let's go ahead and do some prep here for the show. So as you guys know, we love to have these 0.7K like a day or two ago. So really appreciate you guys for the support. Thank you so much. But scroll down to our pin tweet, and you're going to want to do two things on the pin tweet. You're going to want to hit like, and you're going to want to hit RT. Okay. In fact, I'll also throw in.
I think Perps Pad is actually very interesting in the sense that no one's really done this. You can actually pair tokens against perpetual contracts, which I think is pretty insane. So if I'm understanding that correctly, we might have a new innovation on our hands. And if that's the case, we want to talk about here on MCG. So guys, I want to remind you, this episode is brought to you by MetaDAO, the best place to raise and the best place to have ownership as a holder. Check out MetaDAO if you're looking to raise. And if you want ownership over companies, they're doing real revenue, real numbers. MetaDAO is going to be your spot. Guys, without further ado, I want to bring up my friends, ADP the Great and Sage, to talk us through Perps Pad and the innovation here. Gentlemen, welcome to MCG. We're excited to talk.
It was the ETH, should I say bull run? It was that ETH time, Pepe was ripping, so I was just like, oh yeah, let me just like ape into like this meme coin, and I aped into it. No, I did not make money, and I just kept on. I was bridging from L2s to L2s, and personally, I didn't even enjoy it at all. I didn't like the UX, and like the gas fees were absolutely insane, I didn't like it at all. So I just left everything crypto behind. I was like, nah, I'm not touching this anymore. Like most of how people say that's how like retail. I decided to come back in like 2024 to be like, okay, let me put my hands back on it as a developer or an engineer, right? So the first thing I did, the first thing I learned was Dune. I don't know if you know Dune. Dune is for on-chain analytics, you can write SQL, use it to like query the blockchain. So that was the first thing I learned. You can go to like dune.com/adpdegreat. You see like all my dashboards and all those stuff. And I decided like, okay, yeah, I want to like don't buy your first crypto, earn it, So that's where I got introduced to Super Team Earn. I started to participate in a couple of bounties, So I think I made some good money. I made like maybe $5,000 aggregates, on like Super Team and Gib work. So, I just continued like developing on Solana. I started learning Rust as an engineer, started like freelancing and all this stuff, fast forward to today, 2026, and here I am with Perps Pad, and yeah, that's how I got to today. That's how I got to it today.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, it seems like building any sort of perps technology or launchpad is like a difficult task. So kind of interesting to know that you really only picked up developing in the last couple of years. Maybe walk me through a bit on perps pad and your thinking. We see, like I said in the introduction, we see a million different launch pads kind of doing the same thing and forking each other. At some point down the road, you have this idea, we need to create a launch pad that is paired to perps, right? Obviously, perps are blowing up. The market is huge. Hyperliquid is like the story of this cycle. Like, what was that clicking in your mind that just made you really decide to build this launch pad out?
Okay, so I had the idea to build Perps Pad with somebody, right? And we built it together. I have like great knowledge of DeFi. When we're talking DeFi, we're talking AMMs, like order books and all this stuff. I have like really great knowledge on it. And for a moment, he decided to like leave the project, and because the community saw that, yeah, I was like the lead developer and like I implemented most of the tech and the features, they wanted the project to live on. So, I decided to like fork it and, continue developing PerpsPad, and, the idea can't die. Forks everything in crypto, right? So the idea.
That's pretty insane. So talk to me about the dynamics of this then, right? So if like perps pad, you guys have the perps pad token. Is this paired against like a Solana perp pair? Or
yeah,
like
it's paired to Solana. Perps pad is currently paired to Solana, and it's backed by a 5x Solana long. So That's really what's been going on.
So
And
talk me through the market dynamics of this. Obviously, a 5x Solana long means, Solana's 5x more volatile than it would be if you're
in something like backed with a 5x Solana long, and they're really going crazy with the type of creations and the type of launches they're doing too.
So walk me through what happens, right? If you have a 5x Solana long and Solana goes down 20%, that would be in liquidation territory. What happens? Like, is this a spot position? And like, what happens to my position if the perp side of it gets liquidated?
So basically, like I said, the keeper is the one that actually manages, the positions, try as much as possible to de-risk, so try as much as possible to prevent. Per position is a profit territory. You take profits, use it to fuel the buyback and burns too.
Got you. And of course,
And what helps, like, what balances that the perp side, like what initiates the risk management on to the downside, or the take profit to the upside? Is that AI, machine learning? Is that automated in some way, built into the strategy?
Yeah,
How's that managed?
behind the scenes, yeah, it's an automated strategy, So, we're looking at what's going on behind the scenes for all of the tokens. We keep on back tested, and we try to improve it, So we're also going to introduce we're also going to introduce a new feature where users will be able to actually attach their own strategy to the perp, so an AI agent can actually trade that perp for them. So that's the idea, and that's the vision we're looking at.
I saw that you mentioned, was it like 17.5%?
Get that, we relay information, and we act on the data that we see from what we're seeing on the perp position and the current market. So that's really what it is, the AI strategy under the hood.
okay. We're seeing a lot of development in the I'm not sure if you had a follow up on that, Chill, or if I should jump to next topic.
Just real quick, I just wanted to talk about the leverage that's built into the platform. So this doesn't only apply to like stocks. I'm assuming you guys also support commodities and as well. Is that correct?
Yes, we do. Every perp that you see that is available is actually offered by Phoenix Trade. Phoenix Trade, the perp platform on Solana. So they have
Gotcha.
equities, commodities, and the normal crypto futures.
So that part is powered by Phoenix.trade. That's perfect.
Yep.
Now you also have this on-chain perps side of things as well, where you can like add perps to existing pump fund tokens. Like, is that it? Like, how is that even possible?
Not necessarily the perps pairing, but the RWA pairing. You can pair your token against Ansem. You can pair your token against a private equity company. You can pair your token against stocks. How do you guys give yourself enough of an edge to make people choose your platform to tokenize and make these pairings on, rather than, I guess, some of the myriad of competitors out there?
So what actually sets perps apart from other launch pads that decide to do stuff with crazy innovations that we're seeing here with tokenized equities and pre-stocks, So it's a combination of, we are also running that race too. We had a collaboration with pre-stocks. I was talking to a pre-stocks founder, so you can actually pair your token with a pre-stock right now. That's like OpenAI, or like you can also pair it with like X stocks too. That's like maybe fries in the bag, like McDonald's. So what actually sets us apart is basically the perp and the idea behind it. Like I said, basically you create a narrative. You create a coin that has a narrative backed by market sentiment, right? So, and we're seeing people do creative stuff with it. So it's just you continue pushing it, and people understand the idea, and people catch on with it. So that's really it.
Yeah, maybe even talk me through some of your high level stats. I got the stats page pulled up here from your website, which is actually super cool. What's some of the trends you're noticing here? Obviously, Solana is clearly by far Actually, not by far, by 3 launches. The most prominent asset that people use to pair against. What are you starting to notice and realize, I guess, from some of these stats and some of the launches you're seeing on your platform?
Well, some things I've started to notice. A lot of things that I've started to notice from the stats, what I've been reading it and relaying to users is most people would still prefer to, pair with Solana. And followed by Solana, we have the SpaceX to the SpaceX tokenized equity, right? So, that's really interesting. And also the leverage people, because it's meme coins, it caters to degens mostly, right? So a lot of them are actually choosing really high leverages, So you have like 10x leverages, you have like the 10x leverages, you have the 25x leverages, and as you can see, like the leverage used, right? You can see like 5x, like 41, the next is like 10x, So like the DJs are using really high leverages, and it even reflects their behavior like normal perps, right? Maybe they want to like go on Hyperliquid and boom, they're just like, yeah, let's rip it, So
$20 million both in raise and also in product volume. Back in the day, a lot of people knew me through DAOs.world. That is Asflin's platform. Before
Friend of the show.
Before people did into ICCM and ICM, and I also worked with Ethereum Privacy, EIP 7503. On growth as well, led the raise and also led the marketing as well. I am. Me and ADP, we've kind of like known each other for 3 years now, and he's mostly into the dev side of things. I myself, I'm kind of like a backend engineer, but I left that train a long while. So I kind of like focus more on pushing product, because one thing I noticed was a lot of builders kind of like lack on the aspect of selling their idea. So I basically focused on that mostly and seeing how to
have some questions as well.
Yes, Sage, I guess I'll just kind of ask you, same question I asked ADP earlier was, we're seeing a lot of innovation happening around launch pads and a lot of people doing stuff similar. I think perps is a new angle to it and kind of like adding leverage to these positions, which is really exciting. But how do you go and attract the right audience here and the right deployers to come to your launch pad? Because we've seen it always comes back to top of funnel, right? Pump One has a first mover advantage, so they have a great top of funnel. Everyone kind of just uses them by default. But then you have things like MetaDAO, which manage to attract really great businesses, tech plays, projects launching on their platform. How do you guys grow that top of funnel to get great deployers coming through your platform? And like, how do you differentiate your platform from like a degen leverage platform? Because people see leverage and they kind of associate it more with lots of volatility, a little bit degenerate. So I guess my question to you becomes, how do you go and attract this larger top of funnel and deployers onto your platform? Because ultimately we need to see how you can win as a launchpad.
Okay, that's a very nice question. So first of all, we have 3 different user base on our platform. But first and foremost, PepsPad remains a meme coin launchpad. We had to focus on the meme coin launchpad first, because you have to attract in the crowd to launch and also to trade there. And like I said, we also had a cold start problem, trying to figure out who we are going to target first. If we are going to target the perpetuals traders, or we are going to attract the meme coin traders, or we are going to attract the meme coin launchers. But we tend to focus more on the meme coin traders before the launchers. And currently, we just have barely few launchers to do this amount of volume. So how we've been differentiating with other launchpad is we are not kind of like competing with them per se. We are sort of complementing launchpads, right? Because you can definitely route fees down to our platform, and you can definitely route your launch to our platform, and fees are basically used to open position, and the launchpad themselves take their own fees, right? So we've not gotten into that circle of pushing that particular feature yet, because we just wanted to kind of like allow people to get used to the platform by also launching memes on the platform. So what differentiates us as a feature isn't just the PEP's position, or isn't just the pairing or whatnot. It's basically the ability for people to see something sort of novel for them to do on the platform, right? Like ADP said, we've had multiple platforms focusing on just meme coins, creator coins, and a couple of other coins, but we've not really experimented to kind of like give meme coins a bit of life. irrespective of whether they are trading or they are not trading. But provided the little fees is coming in, then definitely meme coins can keep on running. And another thing we tend to do is kind of like aligning incentives for everyone on the launch pad. Like ADP said, we are kind of like experimenting to give holders back a profit into the PEPs position as well. So aside from just being a launch pad, the other people that kind of like sees PEPs pad as a micro hedge fund, kind of like crowd pulled kind of like hedge fund platform where people can definitely make the most out of it. So I mean, PepsPad is like PepsPad basically like means a lot of things to different people, but we are still trying to like find that particular messaging to use to attract the necessary set of people. So right now we focused on getting the meme trenchers, and we are definitely looking at getting more meme launchers. Then at the end of the curve, we definitely look at getting more Peps traders, because when people understand that you can be profitable from the meme and convert it into the Peps position and also run your own Peps position from the platform itself, then definitely we are kind of like having every single person that is in crypto on board the platform. So right now we are just meme launchers, meme traders, and basically complementing Pump Fund as well.
Gotcha.
So question on this. So you guys, this is insanely complex. And I don't say, so let me just walk that back. Perps trading is insanely complex just by itself. You have to be, very surgical when it comes to, getting your entries, managing a position. So now when you think about kind of like launching a meme coin on top of that, that creates for some interesting, volatile dynamics. Like where do you see this going exactly? Like, what's the grander vision behind all of this? Like, is this just going to be meme coins? Is this just it, or can other stuff be built with this? Because you kind of just
basically taking up to, if I'm not mistaken, up to $10,000 in profit, 10,000 bucks in profit, and that was due to the last run that happened on. Yeah, that was due to the last run that happened, and they were having issues with taking profit and getting liquidated. So we kind of like adjusted the strategy, and we saw a very good pump. And the 6,000 profit was split into buying and burning most of the tokens. In just 3 days, they were able to burn 96 million worth of the tokens. So the complexity is mostly on the liquidation strategy and the entry strategy, right? So for the token platform, we don't really necessarily have too much complexity. Everything is being run by SDKs on the back end.
And what happens when an LP gets liquidated?
Okay, so for the LP getting liquidated, provided the meme coin has people trading it, provided there is a trading fee going into the meme coin, the fees gets to feed into the PEPs position. So on the fee structure, we have 50% of the fees generated by the meme coin going into PEPs position. So if you're having, say, $1,000 being traded into the meme coin, 1% of that and 50% of the 1% goes into the meme position. So as little as $10 to $25 can keep the position running, right? And basically keep the position alive. Another update we want to work on, which was requested by the community, is a governance policy that allows for community members and also creators aligned to kind of like flip this position when the position goes against their trading strategy. So that is currently in research mode. We've not really fleshed out yet, but we've kind of like actively been doing research on it. So in the future, where we see this is personally, where I see this is giving life to meme coins, basically not allowing meme coins to die out completely, because we've seen multiple meme coins in space of 2 years. We've seen almost 6 million meme coins launching on a steady basis, and at the end of the day, 90% dies off completely. And we were trying to kind of like reduce that number to a bit, like not more by a very large margin, but probably like a bit, and keeping the meme coins in profits at every given time, so that the community members that are holding the meme coins and also the creator that created the meme coins can be able to make money from it, definitely, without even having more people trading meme coins as well.
Got you. This is really interesting. We have to start gearing towards wrap, but I want to ask a little bit of competition. Is anyone else building a perps first launch pad, or are you guys the only people?
On Solana, do you mean on Solana or generally?
I guess generally.
Both. Yeah.
Well, we're the only ones that we have seen. Someone asked the question about all the fun. The difference between Perspire and all the fun is someone calculator said, isn't all the fun doing something functionally similar to this with the perp token pairs? Now the difference between us and all the fun is all the fun actually pairs a tokenized version of the pair a tokenized version of the perp position, right, on Hyperliquid to the coin itself. Now, a problem with this is if now because it's paired with the token in the pool, you understand, like if the token maybe even suffers like a slight drawdown, it completely demolishes the floor, right? It's like, oh, you pair a token with like 5x on maybe Zcash, and boom, it's like the day that Zcash like went straight to the ground, it's going to like really demolish the floor for that coin. So we decided to design it. We decided not to like go to that route where you actually pair it with the tokenized proposition itself, and decide to like put it as something that you add it as a flywheel on top, right? The perp engine is like a flywheel on top of the coin, so you can still like pair the coin with like Solana or maybe like a stock. So I think engineering, especially when we're dealing with something as complex as perps, is about like the trade-offs, and everything. You have to look at everything and consider them, and this is the route we chose.
Got you. Okay, that actually makes a ton of sense. Pairing the perp on top, good explanation there. Moving on to roadmap, kind of what comes next. We have to wrap. But like, what's the next steps for you guys? How do you really grow this thing into a successful launch pad? And yeah, it's a roadmap.
Okay, on the roadmap, honestly, we've not really executed most of the things we have on our backlogs because we kind of like making more adjustments to what the community requested. They requested for developers docs, they requested for an update in the UI, and they requested for a couple of other things that we are trying to fix. But notwithstanding, like we kind of like hinted, first of all, we will be adding the agentic feature to the platform, where you can also manage your positions with AI agents and have like better trading strategies. And the government policy would tend to go live as well, where community can come together to manage the position properly as well. And then we're also thinking about integrations to a couple of other chains. These are alpha, and we'll definitely be seeing how to like get more chains into the into Perspad ecosystem. Then
Can I jump on that real quick? We're talking about integrating more chains. Obviously, I think Robinhood's probably top of mind for you guys. How would you manage to go about doing a Robinhood paired token with leverage? Obviously, we're seeing a lot of Robinhood launchpads do RWAs and stocks, but none with leverage. I don't know if you guys can give any more sauce or insight on that, but love to hear it.
Okay, so currently we are done with integration. Everything is properly managed through Lighter decks. We kind of like pulled the PEP's position from Lighter. We were supposed to go for Argos here, but it's not really necessarily live right now, so we just went with Lighter. And to be honest, the EVM side of things and the Solana side of things are practically the same thing, just difference with the PEPs provider and also the wallet infrastructure provider. So for the wallet infrastructure provider, we are looking at Coinbase wallet that provides sub wallets for a couple of other positions. But one of the issues we faced with testing on EVM side of things was the key management and also the PEP's position going on Lighter. So there's kind of like a delay with the PEP's position going live. There's like a 2 to 3 minutes delay due to the ZK feature of Lighter, where you kind of like do off-chain verification and all that. So, but we kind of like found a bit of workaround towards that. So it's not really much different between Solana and the Robinhood chain, honestly. And also for Base as well, it's not really much different. There's not really much difference.
Got you. All right, guys. Well, we are at time. Any closing thoughts you just want to leave the people with? If you could say it in 1 minute, anything you want to leave the people with, or we covered it all today on MCG?
I think we might have lost him,
Anyone
unless
welcome to
ADP,
take
unless
that.
you're talking and you're muted. But yeah, any wrapping thoughts, guys?
Yeah, yeah, I was actually muted. I was like, yo, what's going on?
All
So
good.
yeah, wrapping thoughts, so we have updates, more updates coming soon. As Sage mentioned that you were going to integrate the agentic AI trading feature for the underlying perps that a deployer can actually connect to the perp. So the idea is, community participation. So we're going to change it into something like every token holder would have a share of live exposure to the perp. So that's what's going to be like. The profits can be taken and it will be distributed to token holders. So and we're also, he talked about the Robinhood integration too. So yeah, that's another thing. And we also upgraded the UI. You can check it out right now. Upgraded the UI to something really, really sexy, more modern and everything, play around it, test it out. So yeah, that's basically it.
Got it.
I
I
can't,
love
Got
it.
it. I think you're muted. I think you're
Yeah,
yeah,
me
muted
you
too.
as
were
well.
muted.
Did the same thing. Appreciate you guys coming up. We'll definitely want to keep tabs on this and follow it. I think it's a cool idea and concept. So we'll be watching. Thank you guys for coming on and explaining it to us.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you very,
you.
yeah, thank you very much, Don. I'll see you guys later.
Sage, ADP, it's been a pleasure. Take care, guys.
Yeah, it's
Bye.
been a pleasure. Soon.
All right, we
Awesome.
got Colby from Prism coming up here in a second. Quick,
Ooh, this is
quick
gonna be a good
takeaways.
one.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Quick takeaways from Perps Pad. I mean, definitely a more like, obviously, like I'll always say degens will degen, right? So like this stuff is like super volatile, higher leverage. I think people will play with it perhaps. But interested to see, I mean, they have $6 million in volume so far. Interested to see like how that continues. They have like, almost like 20% of supply burnt already. So interested to see how things play out there. I think it can, it's definitely something that interests me, but it's just like, man, like you can pair a token to a 20x leveraged like position like that'll get licked real quick, so
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And I think Top Fumbler makes a really good point. Like, yeah, so a few big takeaways. I actually really like the idea of perps adding a lot of volatility to meme coins, because for meme
Yep.
coins to be interesting as an intention vector is they need to move up and down, whether it's buying, selling,
Yep.
shorting, like they need to be moving up and down. So I really like added volatility in that sense. I do also think though, like it's a cool concept in theory, but yeah, their AI risk engine has to be so good for it to be adding and taking away at the right times to where it's not like hurting and affecting the token in a negative way. And that seems to be like my biggest hold up here. But I do really like the idea of pairing tokens with perps, especially if you're doing just like a 2x perp or whatever it might be. But pretty cool. Did Hypu launch on your pad? Why did it take a couple from Hype? Yeah, question for next time, I guess. But Chill, you want to maybe give a quick intro on Prism here? We've had them on the show before. I think the lore here for me is this is what really got me initially excited about V4 hooks and like everything they could offer. And so we saw they did it with ETFs, but maybe I'll let you give a quick little intro because I know you're really excited for this conversation.
Yeah, no, I've been really digging into Prism, been experimenting a little bit as well. And I'll be doing more write-ups, I'll be doing more content, but you guys have not seen me in my bag working era. If you guys were here in 2022, 2023, maybe even early part of 2024, before I went like full trader mode, like you weren't with me in my bag working era. When I'm a legit community member and I'm just writing threads all day and I'm looking at the protocol from like all different types of angles, fighting FUD on the timeline, like you haven't seen me in that era. And so Prism is going to bring my bag working era fully back. I genuinely think that this qualifies as my probably biggest bag for the cycle. I will go out on a limb and I will tell you guys that right now. but Prism is building. This is basically like the DeFi. This is like the App Store moment for DeFi. Is the way I'm looking at Prism right now. Like it's a key building block that you can't even imagine. I'm a smooth brain degen, so I know I can't even imagine what could be done with the Prism tech. But I think one really cool thing that has been created is the ETFs. The on-chain baskets that Spectrum indexes allows you to create using Prism and what you can build there. And I think that's just one of, who knows, man, tens, hundreds, thousands of DeFi products and apps. And that's what I want to talk to Colby about today. That's why I'm really excited about this interview, because I want to kind of get into his brain and figure out, like, what does the future actually look like when everyone is leveraging this technology. So let's go ahead and bring Colby up. I'm really excited for this one. Brother, man, welcome back to the show. How you been?
Good to be back. Yeah, thank you for having me. I've been good. The weather is beautiful. The birds are tweeting. You can't fault it, right? Summertime in Europe. But yeah, not that I've seen the outside, to be honest, because it's been a busy 3 weeks, to be honest, just shipping a ton of stuff for Prism. But it's good to be back. Thanks for having me.
In theory, the sun's shining a little brighter today, but who knows? You're inside. You're inside, not touching grass. So
it's true. Yeah.
Well, it's good to have you back. I know we had you on the first time. There's a lot has happened since then. So and to be honest, a lot's happened on your side. A lot's happened on our side. Our show has been growing tremendously. In the
congratulations, by the way. I mean, honestly, only the best comments I've heard about MCG, and I agree. Like, you guys do a stellar job.
Wow.
Nah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, high praise. We appreciate that. So just kind of reintroduce yourself to the chat, the community, and then we go from there. I want to get into a few things, like not only like who you are in relation to the protocol, but also kind of the protocol's history, and now I want to kind of get into that story as well, so that way we can clear the air of everything. But let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, sure thing. So I run a liquid on-chain proprietary fund with a couple of my friends based in Malta. We're big degens, but also we come from a bit of a financial and tech background. And we just honestly just love the technology, right? Like, we got into the space in 2017, basically around how blockchain can benefit everyone. Stayed for the tech, and we kind of feel like it's the perfect moment for a lot of, especially low cap on-chain primitives to thrive. And we stumbled upon Prism completely accidentally at the beginning of June, I want to say. And we just fell in love with it, like, as you mentioned, Chill, right? Like, I think hooks are very much the app store moment for finance in general, whereas Uniswap just had a buy and sell simple flow. Hooks allows you to really just take everything and make it composable. And yeah, we feel like it's the app store moment too. Prism's history is crazy. May I just say that, it was started by a random anonymous French developer who had the idea of, okay, what if I make a token where you have all of the initial supply in a liquidity pool, and anyone who buys out of that liquidity pool, it basically creates like a locked protocol liquidity, right? And then with hooks, I can actually share all the LP fees with holders. And what enamored us about that is it's such a great incentivization mechanism for people to build on top of it, right? Because if you add products that can effectively generate volume for Prism, you're generating daily fees for all the holders and for also all the builders. So for us, we just discovered it. I think I was buying on FOMO just like crazy when it first came out, just enamored by the technology, got to speaking with the initial developer, turned out not so savory of a gentleman, but created good technology. And we decided, what, we really want to build on this because we're in Europe. We can't really launch our own token, but we can actually contribute open source tooling on top of a decentralized ecosystem. And we actually were setting up our own software development company, Aurora Labs, to build on-chain primitives, right? Products on top of on-chain tech. And we just thought, let's just get into this. So we had the idea of Spectrum, right? Which was the kind of first app built on Prism, which is effectively basket or index or ETF tokens, whatever you'd like to call it. And it's really just spiraled from there. I won't touch on that just yet because I think it's important to mention the history of Prism. Something that's really incredible is, unfortunately, someone tried to exploit the first version of Prism. It wasn't really an exploit. It was more of a grief. Basically, the fee share mechanism they minted a ton of these fee share NFTs to the pool manager, which is basically where the Uniswap pool sits. So it effectively just griefed the entire fee mechanism for everyone. And at that point, to be honest, it was a very tough moment, actually, because we were told by a community member, hey, I think there's been an exploit. We kind of dropped everything, did an audit, and we basically just decided we're not going to sell any of our position. We're going to do a big exploit disclosure on GitHub with all of our, research, posted it on X, full well knowing that what it would basically do to the price. And put that out to the community. So after that, there was this crazy amount of turmoil, literally 2 or 3 weeks where nothing happened. But kudos to the community. There is a giant Chinese community in Prism. They love the tech. They love the hooks. And they actually rallied around getting a version 2 of Prism up. So right before we put out that exploit disclosure, we released a snapshot of all the holders. Basically, everyone who had no idea that there was an issue with the token. By this point, it was like 4 weeks old, right? So that snapshot was just core people who believed in what Prism was trying to do and the ecosystem on top of it. And that was where the V2 Prism kind of originated from. It was pretty incredible. So literally, these community members launched a version 2 of this token. It was a one-to-one claim of Prism. So literally no extra tokens minted. Anyone who had version 1 from the snapshot could claim on the new Spectrum site and get their Prism. And now, Prism's way above where it was when the actual exploit disclosure happened. So I think it's one of the very sort of rare feel-good moments in crypto where an exploit isn't like the last say of a token.
Can I jump in here real quick? Like, why do you think Prism is doing so well this iteration around compared to the first one? Because it's high, like you said, it's higher than it's ever been, or at least I believe it is. Is this because we're starting to see the emergence of V4 hooks and people were like, oh, wait a minute, like Prism was kind of the first doing this? Like, I don't know, what do you attribute this success to this time around?
I think it's a confluence of a lot of factors. I think, first of all, the timing is very lucky. You have a lot of innovative builders, for example, like Adam from Token works with Fake World Assets. You have Prism, obviously. I think the timing is right, where people have had enough fatigue from this mini or quote unquote bear market that they actually want to start believing and backing like on-chain tech. I mean, I think we all got so fatigued around, TradFi is just going to come in, take all the tech. We're not going to have any innovative stuff. They're going to slap stable coins on. You're going to get your dollars on chain, and then that's it. And now people are reasoning, well, hang on a second. That's not what we were here for in the first place, right? So people are backing innovative stuff again. I mean, you've alluded to it right earlier in the podcast. Like the trenches are on fire with new stuff, which is amazing to see. And I think Prism timed it just really well there, luckily. I think the second of all, everything being built on top of Prism is supposed to be sustainable products. I personally do not care about narratives. I do not care about the hype cycle. It's great. But the way Prism wins is the core KPI is volume to the token to generate fees, to bring more builders in, to build on top of it, to generate more fees, that flywheel basically. So for example, Spectrum, like we just believe it's a genuinely good innovative tech that actually helps everyone. It's very rare, I think, that you get like a product that aligns everyone. Like developers have the mind share and the marketing from these basket tokens. Creators get an additional fee mechanism that's net good for the space. They're not competing. There's no liquidity rotations. So every Prism app is just value aligning, right? Even Prism itself, you hold Prism, you believe in it. The longer you hold it, the more fees you're going to make from buy and sell trading. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I think it's a lot of kind of factors coming together, really.
So where does well, first a builder question, because Prism is a decentralized sort of community, and it's like you mentioned, there's a Chinese side that's really bullish. It's bringing on builders. Like, I feel like for a lot of these protocols that we talked to, we've interviewed 600 plus founders so far. A lot of questions that we ask about is, all right, like traction. How do you attract traders? How do you attract builders? Like, what's your audience? We go through these questions, but it seems like Prism for itself is kind of doing it for itself. Builders are just kind of coming on board, of their own volition. So what do you think builders are so excited about? What attracts them to Prism? And what's your take on like the state of builders when it comes to Prism and V4 in general?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
I think one thing that's helped is all of the tooling and tech is open source. So anyone literally right now, if I get hit by a bus, I hope I don't, but anyone can literally take the open source kit, create their own site, plug in their own integrator fee, and just spin up 1,000 Hydra heads of Spectrum. And that's the same with a lot of stuff, right? That also means builders get a head start with all of the UI. One of the things at Aurora Labs we really are passionate about is genuinely great user experiences. I think crypto doesn't have enough of that in terms of, stuff that just anyone can use, whether it's your gran, whether it's you, whether it's whatever. So that's something that really I think has excited people, that they can just jump in. They have all the documentation, they have the repos, and they can get stuck in and up and running. The other thing, and I don't know if this is just because of the current market cap or if this continues, but it's a bit like a shared venture platform, kind of the way I've been thinking about it. So it's a mothership of apps, but realistically, you only need one of those apps to do insanely well for the flywheel of Prism to do well, for fees to be generated, for builders to get rewarded. So rather than launch your own token and then have to do marketing and then have to, really have a presence, jump on the Prism mothership, build on top of it. And then everyone kind of has that shared venture bet of, even if my apps don't really take off, someone else's may. And that basically, kickstarts the value alignment with the token. So I think that's been a big thing as well. And I also just think it's because of how cool hooks are, right? Like if it wasn't a hook-based thing, I think it would be harder. I think we've only scratched the surface of what hooks can do. And therefore, a lot of builders are really interested in that tech. And Prism is one of the forefronts of it. So it's kind of that shared knowledge or shared insight and experience, I guess, of building with hooks. And also AI, right? Now, realistically, anyone with a good idea, strappy young entrepreneur or whoever it is, can build anything in their mind and quite quickly. And we want to be kind of at the forefront of helping people use that technology and really putting it in the right form factor with the product. So yeah, I think it's those kind of factors.
Got you. And I don't know if you were going to ask something, Dom, but I was.
Go ahead, keep it going.
Yeah. Okay. So here's another question I had for you, because with Prism, it feels like it's just this base layer, and like you said, anything that gets built on top, as long as one of them takes off, I mean, that means success for Prism. What do you think is the appeal for someone to come to build something on Prism versus hey, I have another idea, another app, and I'm going to launch my own token? What's the lore of coming through to the Prism ecosystem?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, launching your own token is just rife with a lot of, you have to have quite a lot of experience. I know there's a lot of launch pads, but I genuinely don't believe it's that easy for builders. Just launching your token is literally the surface. And then you need the marketing, you need to have correct distribution, all of that kind of stuff. I think realistically with the way Prism, so Prism at the moment has a giant protocol owned liquidity, right? It's like 200K or whatever that the protocol owns that no one can take out of it. And anytime someone's buying and selling into that pool, those fees, the 1% fees, get distributed to all holders. And you can literally just claim it on the Prism mothership side. So for a builder to get an initial allocation of Prism, to then create their product and not have to worry about their own token and the distribution and the marketing, I think it's just a lot easier. It's a lot less daunting. It has a lot less legal ramifications. So it's easy for people to jump on board as a dev. We kind of also see it as a little bit of a hopping off platform, right? Say you do want to launch your own token, but you don't know where to begin or how to start. Get involved with Prism, start building on Prism, and then via our network and contacts, if you do have an idea and you do want to launch your own token, then you can, So it's kind of like a jumping off point into the space. And that's kind of the way, I mean, if you look at the Prism mothership side, right, that's the way we're kind of marketing it too. It's the app store for finance in a sense, built on the app store of swaps, which is the hooks. So yeah, I would say that is the main thing. And again, I would also say the open source kits, right? Just having, I mean, there is millions of lines of code that we've just no-lifed over the last 2 months that anyone can use. So a massive head start, honestly.
Got it. And when it comes to man, my question completely just left my mind, but I had a question. I had a question on when it comes to Uniswap V4 hooks. What's the coolest thing that you feel like is being built right now? I know obviously there's Spectrum. So And it's honestly like very, very cool. And if I do say so myself, I think it will be one of the biggest drivers of value to the Prism ecosystem. It's just a great product. Honestly, it will sell itself. People will pick it up itself. And I'm honestly going to be doing a lot of that myself as well. But yeah, like what are you most excited for? I fail to understand what can be built with with V4 hooks. Whether call me a smooth brain degen or what have you. But you let me know, like what do you feel like is most exciting that can come out of V4 hooks?
It's a good question. I mean, I think there'll be a lot of ties to real world assets, I think, in the future, particularly as those become, tokenized, like being able to have instantaneous, like it's just like an if this, then that, right? So all of a sudden a swap can do many, many complex interactions in the back end rather than just one, which is buy and sell. So I think the problem with hooks is you kind of almost can't envision it until it happens, because it needs to be sort of product specific. I mean, if you look at Spectrum, I can just talk about then when I buy it, it's literally going out and sourcing all of the underlying assets for that basket and just buying it on behalf of the user, putting it in a smart contract, and then just valuing the price of that basket token off of all of its underlying assets. So that's one example of a hook, right? I'd say the best hook technology is the stuff that makes your life easier, not more complex. And, that can be stuff like, for example, auto accruing yield on a position by depositing it into a yield bearing vault or instrument, whatever. Maybe you do have something where you tie in real world assets to, diversify a portfolio, whatever it may be. Obviously with Prism, it's literally a share of a protocol owned liquidity pool, right? So I struggle to answer it because of just you can do anything, but I just think the key is to make it simple, to the point where a good hook, you just don't know what's happening. It feels like magic. Maybe we can dive into Spectrum and really and understand that platform and how we use hooks too. But
yeah, absolutely. I'd love to dive into Spectrum a little bit more here. Before we do, I have one more question. It just seems like the rabbit hole of of V4 hooks just goes so deep. Man, how let's actually skip that for now. Let's actually skip that question for now. Let's just go straight into the Spectrum deep dive. Tell us a little bit about Spectrum and what you're building.
Sure thing. Okay, so let's take it from where it currently is and then where it's going to go. So currently what it is that you have ETH, Base, and Robinhood. And the idea is I'm really excited or interested about these assets. You bundle it into one basket and you have a basket token where all I need to do is buy or sell that basket token. And on my behalf, it's going out and buying and selling those underlying assets. So it can literally support, I believe it's up to 20 assets per basket. So say I'm really excited about the Robinhood eco and I want a couple of stocks and I want, a couple of memes and maybe some launch pads. You can just put it into one basket and literally put all of the weights that you want, right? So, okay, I want 50% shared over these stocks, 20% in these memes, the rest in the launch pads. Pop it all together in literally 5 minutes, and I have one token that expresses my entire thesis on a chain. And that's like in a nutshell how powerful that can be, right? And it's literally buying or selling that one token. It's doing all the work. One of the most magical things about the first version was seeing it work the first time. Because what I had all the deck screener charts open for all the 8 assets in the basket. And anytime someone was buying or selling out of that pool, you literally saw across 8 deck screener tokens, all the buys and sells across all tokens. It was magic.
Incredible.
It felt like magic. Yeah. And that was the light bulb moment. Like, holy crap. Like, this is so value aligning and rising tides lift all boats for an ecosystem. For example, like say Base, right? Okay, they don't have the limelight right now. Create a basket token around all of the genuinely innovative 1 million to 10 million tokens on Base into one single asset that people can trade. And then you have someone who can reweight and edit it when they need to, But it's so easy because then all of a sudden you don't have to worry about the complexity or like doing your own research. Can just, at the end of the day, support the whole eco. So yeah, that's kind of the V1, right? And that allows you to create one on ETH, allows you to create one on Base, allows you to create one on Robinhood. So that's the kind of platform right now. I'd like to touch upon where it's heading because I do think it's important.
Please.
it's about reducing complexity again. So there's two big systems to this update coming this week. The first one is it's an entire new product in a sense. It's the Spectrum portfolio system. So one thing we realized is how much of a hassle is it for anyone remotely, like whether you're a fund or just an individual, to actually get a sense of where their portfolio is at this current moment. Because especially if you're on chain, you're swapping in and out of tokens like crazy. You have no idea what your value is across wallets, across assets and chains. So we basically wanted to create a platform above a wallet and above a swap, like traditional DEX, that you just plug in all your wallets. You see in like a beautiful bento grid, like in the Spectrum style. Oh, I've got 100K in this, I've got 50K in this, whatever, on this chain across this wallet. It's a condensed portfolio for on-chain assets. And then the beauty of it is it allows you to execute across chain in a simple execution flow. To actually then reweight it. So say I'm like, I want to completely sell this asset and I want to buy these three things. I can do it in one simple flow, and then it literally knows how to execute that. So it can send gas for you to the other chain. It'll buy the things in the weighting that you specify, and you can actually execute on your portfolio in one simple, class. So that's the portfolio system. And the reason we wanted to build that, not only because it's just something that we built because we need to use it for Aurora Capital. So Aurora Capital will be the first user of this, probably plowing in quite a lot of volume. But we thought it solves an issue because wallets, they're all, it's individual wallets. They're so granular on the wallet sort of solution. And DEXs are all one-to-one that we thought there's actually a one-to-many kind of platform that's needed. So that's the portfolio system. And the nice thing is there, it has a sort of 0.5% fee on doing all of the convenience that just goes directly into Prism, buying and burning. So again, that leads to the more volume for Prism, which leads to more fees for holders, which leads to more builders. So you can kind of see the thesis kind of playing out. Then let's touch upon Spectrum V2, which is the basket system. So we are ambitiously trying to co-opt the word bundle, right? Traditionally, bundles have just been a terrible word. You're getting like the rug swept from underneath you. What we're going to use that word for is a basket across like multiple chains, right? So you can create for the first time a basket, quote unquote, or a bundle that has ETH assets, Robinhood assets, and base assets in one flow. It's under the hood, it's 3 tokens, right? So say I have assets on Robinhood, Base, and ETH, it's actually creating a basket token on each platform. But in the front end, in the user experience, it just shows as one individual asset and basket. So say then if I'm a creator, I want to increase something on ETH or decrease something on Robinhood. For the end user, it's just one buy flow that's going out, putting gas on the right chains and putting a basket token on each chain for you. So literally being able to solve multi-chain assets in a way that importantly doesn't involve any interoperability like risk. It doesn't involve any, the ability for a creator to rug like and add their own, crazy low cap, whatever. So we're so excited about this whole thing. And we think that the portfolio to basket system is the way this expands, right? Because say I build my portfolio, what I can do is literally click publish and click on all the assets I want to make into a public basket or bundle. And then you just sign the transaction and you have created your own basket token. So such a good way for a new asset class to also get, really, spawned.
And when you create these baskets, you have to, and help me to think through this. When you buy into the basket, that now becomes the underlying liquidity for the basket. Is that correct?
This is the best thing about baskets. They don't have their own liquidity. Because they're a hook, what they're actually doing is just using the liquidity of the underlying assets. So you selling that token is instantaneous, involves no spin up of liquidity pools or anything like that. Because it's literally, do all the assets in your basket have liquidity pools of their own? Yes. Great. They can be put into a basket. So no liquidity spin up, nothing like that. The price of a basket is purely just looking at the price of each asset via multiple sources, via DEX Screener, the Etherscan, and CoinGecko. Yeah.
I will jump in and say this UI is so buttery. It looks so good. This looks better than
you
most
just
decks.
wait till V2, Dom. You just wait till V2. I have no life. I literally haven't seen the sun. Now I just go to the window and go like this, purely to just make this user experience even better. So you'll be like, you see the little bento you have there on the right? That'll be the main experience. So you'll have a big bento. You can click on each, reweight it, and you see it move across the bento grid. Yeah, we want to make the best user experience in crypto. I mean, it's not hard, sadly, but yeah.
Well, it looks fantastic. So more power to you. That's you doing all the UI work.
Yeah, I'm the front end guy. Also on Prism Beat, by the way, if you type in prismmothership.xyz, that's the new site. So Prism Beat is kind of the old Prism site.
I will say that the new site looks absolutely amazing. I literally caught myself listening to the music while I was like going through the site, and I was like, okay, I'm officially a community member hardcore. Like when you open this thing, Dom, like when you see like top right there next to the deck screener at the very top, like there's this music, it sets the vibes. I don't know. That's what, for me, like I'm an official community member. And by the way, I need to get like the TG or Discord or wherever all the Prism guys hang out, and I'll jump in.
If you click the little arrow by the radio, you can go onto the Prism like proper radio page. There's like just a little.
To just hear that, I just turned it on. It was like, look at this.
So this is the cool thing. So you can literally just leave this up, and you see all of the real-time activity of the ecosystem. So you see anytime someone buys and sells, it pops up with the LP fees that the holders are making. Yeah, and I'm so glad that the Prism Radio got the RNG perfect for that song, because it just rotates. But that's a good meme one. Yeah.
This it's just so buttery. It looks great.
Looks amazing.
Thanks, appreciate it.
And I will say, I've created a basket already, starting to experiment with it. And it's the creation process is actually pretty smooth as well. But I love that V2. You're able, so just to make sure I have it correct, the V1 allowed you to create it on each different chain, base ETH, base ETH, Robinhood. But now with V2, you can create a basket with all the different chains in one basket, and the hooks will take care of everything.
Exactly. It's a bundle of baskets in a sense, right? So we have to create a basket on each chain, but in the front end, we can do all of that complexity for you. So the way you're looking at it on the page, it just looks like one, you have an overall price, you have all of the assets combined. But then, like, and the beauty of it is, say you only have ETH on Robinhood, but you want to buy this basket, it'll just detect the best route. It'll put some gas on base and ETH for you. Then it'll go buy out the legs in the right percentages. So it'll know, 42% of this, the total money I need to put in needs to go onto the Robinhood side, 30% of the base, whatever, the rest onto ETH. It just handles the complexity to the point where a creator or a buyer just feels like they're just, feels that there is no sort of gap in the chain. That's the idea anyway.
That is awesome. Quick question for you. I know this is the EVM side. Any like plans to, well, two questions. Number one, any plans to rotate or get liquidity for Prism on Robinhood? The Prism token itself.
I think, to be honest, I think what we'll do is keep it on ETH mainnet, but just use the routing system we've created, so that if you want to buy it from Robinhood, we're just doing the bridging for you. Because I think there's a power. First of all, I like the return to mainnet narrative, and I think it's important. And even for ETH and EVM to survive, I do think more activity needs to happen on the L1. So if we can, as Prism, as the community, contribute to that, I think it's a win. But I do agree, and I think that's a really good approach, is basically allowing people to buy from different chains, and we handle the logic for them. And also importantly, the power of Prism is in having the singular protocol-owned liquidity pool, so that all the fees do get shared to holders. So the more we can route through that, the more value accrual to everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's something else I realized we haven't touched upon with Spectrum that I really would like to cover. It would be the creator angle, because I know that's something I think that excites you, Chill, right? And I don't think we've touched upon it, because like it's nice for individuals to have their portfolio in their baskets, but the thing I really think the space needs is the ability to give creators and KOLs and influencers, whatever you want to give the name, the ability to channel attention and volume into the right asset. because right now I think one of the biggest problems the space has is rotationary PvP, whatever you want to call it, right? Where I'm bullish on this thing one day, I'm bearish on it the next week, I'm onto something new. Don't get me wrong, very exciting for a trader, but I just don't think for the space to thrive, it's the right form factor for a creator. And that's where I think basket tokens come in, because I don't think a lot of creators realize this, that they can earn 30% of the fees of a basket from their own basket token. So all the fees are split over a waterfall, right? You have a portion that immediately goes to buying and burning Prism. You have a portion that goes to the whoever creates their own front end for Spectrum. And then the rest is split between creators and holders. So what's cool is holding a basket token, you actually get fees over time as well. And creators, they earn, it's around 25 to 30%, depending on how the fee mix kind of shakes out. So all of a sudden they have a singular token, and particularly now with the new update across all of EVM chains. So it's instead of having to like swap tickers and just direct people to random things, you just direct them to your creator token, and you get to create new versions of that token with different assets as you find them. And for a holder that's holding like version 1 of your asset, they literally get a notification on the site like, hey, this creator is created version 2. You can swap into it, and it just swaps into the assets, into that new basket token and does all the waiting for you.
Quick question on this. Let's say I like this RWA and memes one. Let's say Chill created, whoever created it. But I see like, man, when token 8.2% weight of this basket. I don't really like when. Is there a way I can like buy the basket and then maybe substitute out positions for other positions, or increase, maybe the ones I prefer?
Yeah. So that's in the new version, you'll have something called forking a basket. So if you see a basket you like, you can click the fork basket button, and then you can just click off the things you don't want. And that'll just create that individual basket for you. So I think the way that slowly over time things will happen is part of your portfolio will also blend into being a basket token as well, right? So that way, if you genuinely don't like something a creator has done, just remove it, take the rest, and have a convenient way to buy it all in one flow. So yeah, that's
it makes it really interesting for DCAing, right? I mean, like we talk about, every month you get your paycheck. If you like a subset of tokens, probably majors, maybe don't do this for like extremely risky assets, but like DCA every week or month from that paycheck. Like I think it's a great, it's always been a time tested and great strategy. So I think it's really interesting.
Very true.
Also, like in line with the direction you guys are headed on, Crypto Jones asks, when do you make RWAs available on Prism? Obviously, like the narrative right now is clear that our people want RWAs. The equities market is blowing up. Crypto's kind of lagging. When does that come to Prism?
I mean, the beauty of it is at the moment they have a liquidity pool, right? Like we don't need to do anything other than just detect the right liquidity pools. So with, with this version, everything is detected from ETH pools. So even the stocks like Nvidia, Apple, the big ones, they have ETH pools. We will be also creating a new contract to allow for USDG, because on Robinhood, a lot of stocks are actually just paired to USDG. But to answer the question, the moment these things come on chain and the moment they have liquidity pools, we'll be able, or the platform will be able to support it without anyone doing anything. So I envision a world in which there's a basket that has, tokenized tax liens, Miami real estate, stocks, and crypto all in one thing that either an individual or a creator has put together.
You mentioned tax liens. Are you talking with LeanFi, the only other people I can think of doing tax liens on chain?
I haven't spoken to them yet. I mean, the goal is to get the platform just as polished and right as possible, and then getting creators on board, and then I think expanding the world. I mean, I guess the kind of beauty of it is we don't really, like the Prism community doesn't really need to do too much BD because, well, it'll just accept native pools. But I would like to speak to them just to see what they're thinking. I don't quite know how their liquidity structure is working, like how you buy these, but who knows? I mean, that's the beauty of on-chain tech, right? It's just interoperable in crazy ways.
Yeah, I mean, with that, also we see like Solana is doing a lot of the RWA stuff. We had Perp Pads on right before this, who's allowing token pairings against perps and whatnot. Are you guys thinking of an expansion over to Solana as well? Obviously, Solana doesn't really have V4 hooks, but it has a lot of liquidity pools for pre-IPO, existing stocks. Like, how are you thinking about that?
I think the next logical expansion to Solana will be the portfolio system, because even if we can't build an executor there, we can allow you to connect your, your Phantom wallet or whatever to see your combined portfolio across EVM and Solana, and then help you obviously with doing execution on Solana too, right? Even if that's just using Jupyter's router or whatever. So that'll be the first version because it's very contained. And then the things, I mean, I think if Prism really, and Spectrum really gets used, of course, like the next logical thing will be how do you make this across the entire universe of on-chain assets and chains? So for sure, definitely not ruling out Solana, and I think the portfolio system is probably not far away for Solana, honestly.
So, I mean, with that being said, we talk about maybe adding Solana. What about perps? I mean, can I have, again, I guess ideally, like the way I envision this is, if there's a trader I really like who's doing a mix of a little bit of everything, he's tapped in more than I am. Like I'm just gonna trade his basket, but
that's the thing.
I don't want any limiting factors with that. So like, what about perps?
Yeah, well, again, like I'm just going to default to once they have liquidity pools, and I think people are doing this, right? I think you're seeing like the paired against like stocks with a kind of leveraged bet. So it's the form factor's already coming on chain. And I kind of want it to be anytime there is a like native asset, plug it in, right? And it doesn't even need to be plugged in. I mean, there'll probably be people putting RWAs into the baskets. I have no idea, or the community has no idea were even possible, because it just detects the right route. So for sure, and definitely, I think perp. I mean, I'm quite shocked. Well, maybe not shocked, but I think Hyperliquid will probably be the ones to really crack that form factor, right? Like tokenized leverage positions. But definitely. And there was something else I was going to mention, but it slipped off my mind. Maybe we'll come back to it.
If you think of it, just blurt it out. Yeah, I mean, we also see people like Sunrise DeFi, Wormhole Labs product enabling a lot of this stuff. Have you had conversations with someone like a Sunrise who's doing this on Solana?
No, not with Sunrise. So maybe that's a good one. After this, I'll look them up and reach out.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. We might be able to help you with LeanFi or Sunrise, either or both. But Chill, anything I guess you want to close with here as we gear towards wrap?
Let's see. I think I'm solid on this. I mean,
we got to mention the new product, guys. I wanna reveal the next product.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my goodness! Yes. I forgot about that. Yes. Let's do it.
Because I think it's exciting. I think it's like, so again, the goal with Prism is to be as ambitious on chain as possible and really ride the wave of new innovative stuff. So I mean, Prismies is something we've kept under wraps, and I think it's super exciting. This is the Stonkbrokers-esque kind of NFT system for Prism. So the cool thing about Prism, you have fees, right? Literally accruing to every Prism token. But you need one Prism in order to generate those fees. So these Prismies, these cute little bears, first of all, they're the culture behind the ecosystem, right? So if you just scroll up a little bit, you can see basically that every Prismy is a wallet. It's just a little bit down. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. It's a 6551 account, exactly like Stonkbrokers. So these things will just span the entire life cycle and ecosystem of Prism. So you'll have, skins, you'll have Prism you can put in these, you can have like equipment, all kinds of stuff. And it'll be kind of this really cool cultural mint for Prism. But what's really exciting is you will be able to use these as a kind of pool together for Prism fees. So basically, everyone who has a Prismy can put Prism into its account. It then can compound the fees that it makes from Prism. Because right now, like with the swaps, with the trading, you earn ETH and you earn Prism. And what this can do is basically take all the ETH you earn and swap it into Prism for you. And then what you can do is you can actually put these Prismies and attach them to a faction. And every day there will be a new factioned Prismy auctioned off to people. That auction fee will then go to buying Prism and locking it behind the faction leader. And it's a really cool, like just incentivization where you can tie your Prismy to the faction. And every week there's a jackpot of Prism fees. So basically, if you pick the right faction, you have a chance of winning a jackpot of the Prism fees generated by all of it. And there's also some Spectrum fee flows that go towards this pool too. So think of it at this as not only really cool, in my opinion, bit biased, but a super cool PFP and an NFT that evolves. If you go, I think it's up a little bit, maybe. You can actually see, there, mix, match, and make it yours. So basically, this is the actual account, right? So the account allows you to collect skins and equipment, and then all of them literally change the outcome of your Prismy. And there's like 15,000 combinations that basically will be via a game and a gacha that equipable. Pretty exciting. And I think this will be great, not only for getting small fractions of Prism able to earn fees, but also just to have the kind of pool together-esque model of a big jackpot every week.
Why Prismies? We're seeing the NFTs kind of come back. I mean, Stockbrokers is now the third largest NFT by market cap, which is absolutely insane. That chart does not stop going up and to the right. And, it's kind of got its Ponzi-nomic aspects to it that kind of incentivize people to hold. Every time people swap and burn, it goes back to the, the token holders or the NFT holders, whatever it might be. What's kind of inspired you to make this NFT, especially now that we're seeing this kind of be a really good driver for attention and price action, frankly?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one is the fact that one of the gaps I felt Prism had was because there's only 5,000 of these and you have to have a whole Prism in order to earn fees. There's going to be a lot of people with fractions that just can't own fees. And I think that really hinders the flywheel. So what these are is this is the method with the token accounts to actually allow fractionalized holders to earn fees too, or have a chance at a big ownership of the jackpot. As well as auto compounding Prism for you. At the end of the day, like you get the ETH and you're really bullish on Prism. This is the mechanism to just stack more Prism. And the other one is I just think the cultural layer of NFTs is just incredible. I mean, we're very biased. We have like our own digital art collection via Aurora Capital, and we wanted to create something we thought was just super cool. There's a marketplace tied to this as well, the bear market. So you'll be able to like literally swap all of the Prismies. And we'll be revealing more. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, very, very cool. Where can we keep up with this? Because obviously, like this is people are hot on NFTs right now, and like these different, I don't know what you want to call it, Ponzi-nomics might not be the right word, but these different features, I guess they carry with them in terms of like an ecosystem. So I don't know, where can we be paying attention for updates on this?
The Prism Mothership account. We haven't revealed the Twitter yet, but if you follow there, you'll see the reveal announcement for the Prismies and the system.
And just to like double confirm, there will be no new token for this. This is going to be for the Prism token.
No new token, all around the Prism token. Yes.
Lovely, lovely.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that does it. I'm very glad you brought that up because we would have definitely missed it. So, thanks for bringing that up. Really cool stuff. And anything, I guess, again that we didn't cover that you want to talk about, squeeze any more alpha out you, or
there's a Light Runner game being developed by some friends and acquaintances actually, which is a top-down roguelike bullet hell game, which is coming soon. There's still time to mint the founder pack for that, by the way. Tomorrow is the reveal. It's a free founder pack mint. I think it's an incredibly addicting game that, again, you have weekly leagues with a competition that, again, buys and burns Prism. So everything's value aligned around the Prism token. This will probably be coming out at the end of August, early September.
What kind of game is it?
It's have you played a bullet hell? So it's really therapeutic, actually. You run around, there's a ton of mobs that just fly at you, and your character spawns these bullets that just shoot them, and you upgrade your character over time with kind of like a roguelike ability. And what's quite cool is that you can literally take one relic, which is a weapon, out of the game every run and mint it as an NFT to then bring back or sell on the night market, the secondary market. And the weekly league is like that. You have two versions. You have like the silver and the gold. One's like a roughly, I don't know, $1 to enter. The next is $10 to enter. It's a bit like a poker system, right? So you enter, you can keep entering every week. You can keep entering, and there's a weekly pot where you split 90% of the pot with others, and then 8% of the pot goes to buying and burning Prism. The goal is to make it as addictive as possible, and from the early kind of beta testing we're doing, it's pretty fun right now.
There you go. Well, so I mean, there are people building on the ecosystem, which is really nice to see, and it seems like that trend will continue to happen. Last thing I want to talk about, Crypto Jones asks about partnerships. Again, I think you largely, the idea is have people build on the ecosystem, and these are going to happen kind of naturally rather than you going out and doing a lot of BD. But any partnerships that you can note, or how are you guys attracting users?
Yeah, well, one of the quick partnerships is just there's an analytics platform, Blocktronics. I really love what they're doing. It's a base native called Roy, who's creating really in-depth analytics for on-chain tokens. So we're going to bake that into the Spectrum platform, where anytime you buy a new asset across chain, you'll get the detailed stats and analytics, like how much value do holders currently have versus the cost that they put into the token, all the stuff you need to make just good decisions. For other partnerships, we're trying to be as composable as possible, right? At the end of the day, anything plugs in, then it can work. And then for users, the goal is just make things that are beautiful and easy to use that solve a problem. I mean, we're starting with our problems because we know other people have those same problems, and expanding from there. So, yeah.
All right. Well, Colby,
very cool.
It's always a pleasure. Chill, I know, is pulled up on Prism.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it for a long time.
Yeah.
I think we might see a little basket coming from Chill's end here shortly.
Dog, y'all are I'm gonna be on top of these baskets. Y'all don't even know. There's a reason why I'm gonna be fully into this ecosystem. You guys will see. I see the vision right now, and I don't want to
appreciate it,
ramble off, but I really appreciate you coming on today, Colby. And,
pleasure, guys. I mean, you guys are crushing it, may I just say, really with the best kind of on-chain source of info. So keep up doing what you're doing, honestly.
We appreciate that, and we try. So yeah.
Thanks again. Oh, you do, for sure. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much.
All right, Colby. Take care.
See you. Bye. Bye.
Yo, oh my gosh. All right, guys. I need to have a real conversation. with you guys right now. PFP to PFP right now. I'm bullish on Prism. My number one bag type of bullish. All profits, me, and I'm not saying that you need to be. I'm not saying, let me be clear. Let me clear about this. I'm on my Stephen A. Smith right now. Let me be clear. I don't need, you guys do what you guys want to do, but all I know what I'll be doing. I am about to tiz him out, bro. I am about to tiz him out. You're absolutely right.
The hooks are cool, man. When they can expand to Solana, because Solana has a lot more RWA offerings. When they can expand to Solana, and I can start buying private companies, public companies via Sunrise, whatever it might be, dude, I'm going to be excited about that, to be completely honest with you. And then, of course, adding perps to it. That's the vision, I think, for me is I would be hammering these baskets as a position in my portfolio, right? So if I have 50% allocation to majors, 30% allocation to this, whatever, and maybe 10% of my portfolio is allocated to alternative assets or whatever, maybe I would put that 10% in someone else's basket and let them kind of cook on it, right? Whether that's a basket with majors, perps, Solana RWAs, Robinhood RWAs, a whole mix of it. I think generally carving out a piece of your portfolio for it seems like an interesting diversification play. It's double diversification. Diversify your portfolio by adding a new asset. That asset just happens to be a basket of, so on and so forth, right? So, and it really does get crazy. I think on our first conversation when we talked about baskets of baskets, right? Chill goes and creates a basket, and he likes another basket, and he adds that basket to his basket. All right, stay with me. He's got NVIDIA, he's got AI, he's got whatever he's tracking, and then he's got another basket in there, levels to it. It just gets kind of interesting. So here's my massive takeaway, and I'm gonna try to not get too excited about all of this, but here's my massive takeaway. So you have something like the Spectrum indexes, right, that you can create as baskets. At a certain point, it becomes pump fund style in terms of how much baskets you can create, but it doesn't come with the liquidity dispersion problem that we have now. Instead of liquidity going, instead of liquidity chasing so many different tokens across the space, you can now
stitch liquidity back together and concentrate that liquidity on a certain thesis, ecosystem, or narrative. And I actually went back and looked, and because I'm writing a Prism, I'm doing a Prism write-up. ETFs make up 20%, almost 20% of the equities market. We have currently in crypto no ETF type of offering. We kind of search for that broad exposure to other narratives through meme coins, through one ecosystem coin. Like people want exposure to Onchain, so they buy Pump Fund. People want exposure to Robinhood, so they buy Cash Cat. But instead of buying one token, you can really still get that same amount of exposure with the same capital, instead buying the actual underlying assets. And instead of having to pick one asset over another, so instead of just getting exposure to Cash Cat, maybe I buy Cash Cat, maybe I buy, a couple of the other memes that are really hyped. Like Tendies, for example, is thrown in there. Maybe I buy some Ponds memes or whatever. And instead of just getting exposure to Cash Cat, you now can spread your liquidity across all of the ecosystem. But here's the key. You as a trader need to do zero work. You don't need to do any work at all. Creators will do all of the groundwork, the research, the digging into the ecosystem, choosing one meme over another, putting that all in a basket for you, and now presenting that to a trader and saying, hey, look, we already did all the digging for you. Here's what you need to buy. And here's a basket just in case you want to buy it. And the key part is for creators is distribution. And so now every quote unquote KOL, quote unquote influencer, whatever, every one of them that are in the space, if they now have like a reputation for actually being like quality creators, like quality people who add value, who don't rug their audience or don't extract, if you actually have that's instant distribution, that's instant, basket that you can create, that's instant value that you can add. And on top of that, remember, holders get over 50% of the rewards. They get over 50% of the volume of the fees that are being taken, right? So on every buy and sell, creators get about 30%. The protocol gets like 20% or something like that. But the creators, the holders, they get 50 something percent. So as a holder, like you're not only incentivized to hold this basket because you like the underlying assets, or you like the ecosystem, or you like the narratives, or you like the influencer, you now hold it because you also get rewards on top of that. And so every buy and sell not only feeds holders, it feeds the Prism token, it feeds the creator that actually did all the work to create the basket. And if you're really if you're as a creator seeing the vision, you can jump in on this wave early, create your own baskets, put some assets under management, and then you can drive that distribution yourself. Like, and while adding value to the entire ecosystem. I think it's very exciting. It's a huge, you really have to see the vision on this one. And if you aren't an EVM native, you're going to have a lot of questions. You're going to have a lot how is this going to survive long term? Like, you're going to have a lot of questions, but like this gives me OG mainnet vibes. And that's why I'm about to bag work.
Yeah. The thing is though, it's still too manual. We're comparing apples to oranges here. We say ETFs are 20% of the equities market today, which is insane stat, by the way. And that was a bar, which is because it's crazy. We have nothing like that on Solana, but those are also completely automated. Like when a company, becomes a top 100 company, it gets automatically put into this basket. It happens at, fully autonomous. The weight is adjusted based on its rank, right? If it goes up to, a top project, top company in the S&P or whatever, its weight is higher or increased. V4 hooks are really beautiful because they can do that, right? It's a like Colby was saying, if then situation, right? So if this token hits a market cap of this, then it gets put in the basket at this weight, right? And so I think what will be interesting is to see the ones that take the manual user out of it, right? Because I don't want to trade. Honestly, I feel more comfortable trading my own stuff a lot of the time than relying on somebody else to trade it. And like Crypto Jones said, like maybe, they're bad actors and they somehow put it into a token they hold a lot of on the back end, and like they swap 100% of their thing into it, and right, there can be bad actors that use these baskets. And so like I do think we want to start moving to a point where it is autonomous, and it's like maybe the S&P 500 where it automatically adjusts, automatically adds, automatically takes out based on market cap or whatever it might be. So I'll leave it at that. But
yeah, no, I think there's gonna be a lot of questions that still need that you still need to answer and stuff like that. Still gonna be a way that people will try to game the system, really any system that we come up with in crypto. Someone's gonna try to like exploit it, game it, or what have you. But I think it becomes a really interesting offer to people that don't have the time. It's an onboarding tool. It's an interesting offer for people who don't have the time to keep up with the market, who don't have the time to like, this is how you get the plumbers back in the game. This is how you get the Uber drivers back in the game. You know what I mean? Like, and when you combine that with the Robinhood overall vision, I can create a token on Robinhood, create a basket that represents a basket of tokens. And this ETF, just like tokens in crypto move faster than stocks and equities in the equities market, ETFs that are ETFs or baskets, quote unquote, on the crypto side will likely outperform ETFs on the TradFi side. And so if I say, hey, look, instead of buying the S&P for, I don't know, 5, 10, 20%, whatever the return is yearly, buy this ETF that gives you a return in an X amount of return in, I don't know, call it a couple weeks, couple months, couple days, couple years, whatever you want to do. But it now becomes this crazy, crazy offering, especially when you can put stocks in that basket, especially when you can put like, other. So you can get really creative is what I'm saying. You can create ETFs that, are more long-term focused, ETFs that are short-term and require more management on the creator side. But yeah, that's the full takeaway from Prism. I think it's exciting. We'll see how things progress along. But we do have our next interview here coming up, and I'll let Dom tee up Delta.
Yeah, Delta's a really interesting one, and truthfully, I need to like get into the weeds with these guys here to get a full picture of what the product is. Right? Is it an AMM? We saw Up doing really well recently, of course, with their partnership with stockbrokers. Of course, you have Uniswap, which is the largest and leading player in the game. But Delta's doing something really interesting here. You can stake a pool's liquidity and earn a share of every trade and let the fees compound into depth of the liquidity pool automatically. So I guess just understanding how the mechanism works, how users can earn fees. Is this a decentralized, similar to a Meteora situation going on, which is on Solana? Very curious to hear all about it. I think it seems like very interesting tech, something we don't see a lot of on Robinhood right now. So, to see this and have a tradable token is very interesting. So it's our job to get to the bottom of it. That being said, we got the full team in the waiting room here. We got a full 3, so it's a loaded stage, and they'll do their best job talking through everything. So we got Omen, the V's, and Scoops with us today. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey. Thank you for your patience, by the way. We were rambling on a little bit about the last episode, so we appreciate you guys bearing with us. Hopefully we got you for another 30, 45 here, but we're excited to get into it, boys.
For sure. Likewise.
I want to start at the top. We'll just run through it here. I know you guys have a few of you guys are going to take different questions, so I'll just start at the top, kind of try to keep it as structured as possible. But let's do a team background. I'm not sure if you want to individually kind of go through each individual person, or if you want to do like a broader scope of the team here, but would love to kind of get to know the 3 horsemen here behind Delta.
For sure, yeah. I think we can run through it individually. So I'm Omen. I've been in crypto for about just over 2 years. I hopped in like when Sol started popping off and Pump Fund really started doing their thing back in like May 2024. I obviously like started as a trader, seeing like how cool these markets were operating and stuff. And then I quickly kind of got into deving and deving meme coins and different projects. So I've done a lot of different project development and advisory work across Solana, also BNB. Even we've seen like kind of like everyone hop chains here and there. So I've done like my fair share kind of across multiple chains. And then now obviously Robinhood, is taking a lot of market share. So that's been really exciting. I definitely like EVM a lot more, I think, than Solana, just in terms of like liquidity and different traders and stuff. So it's really awesome to be kind of building here. And then as of recently, I've been placing a lot of focus more on the tech side of things, in regards to like liquidity infrastructure and scaling stuff. And then in regards to kind of what I'm doing at Delta, I'm leading token management, business development, marketing strategy, and partnerships as well.
Very good. We'll just jump to, either V's or Scoops. You can go next. But I do want to circle back, Omen, at some point and just talk about, like, you mentioned you're on Robinhood now, you prefer EVM. Why you prefer EVM. I'm not going to jump the gun because I want to get intros to Scoops and the V's first, but we'll circle back on that.
For sure.
Sure, go ahead. Or you go, V's. It's up to you.
Yeah, go Scoops, yeah.
Okay.
I will close it out, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Scoops. Been in crypto for about 6 years now. I was very, very early on in Sol. I think my first NFT mint was Geckos. Spent a lot of time on Solana. Yeah, good days.
I remember those days. I had a good
times, right?
couple of those guys.
Yeah. So definitely spent a lot of time on Sol. I started getting into EVM things when, I don't know if you remember, like the node crazes where you basically just like Thor node, Comb, all these, I don't know, basically Ponzi schemes. But that was 2021, 2022 early. And I kind of never looked back. I love building on Sol. Things, obviously are faster, a little different. But EVM is an awesome place too. Obviously, we're here on Robinhood. It's new. And yeah, that's kind of my quick background. I've been developing for about 6 years on both chains. And yeah.
Okay, so not new to the scene.
Not new.
The V's, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, from my side, I've been in crypto also for about like 6 years, I think since 2020. Before the bull run started, I got into like BNB, DeFi seed, right? Starting with PancakeSwap back then when they just like started out. So yeah, it was a pretty good entry, I would say, into crypto. And I was always really into like deep researching products, different projects, right? Ponzi's also were pretty popular back then, farming, and it was all related to DeFi. Then transitioned from that, trying out also like different chains that were involved in NFTs, like Ethereum. We had back then also VEX, Atomic Hub, also like Solana when it just started out. So it was pretty early to all of those when they just got started, right? And then transitioned more into the token scene, I would say, trading meme coins, doing on-chain stuff. So I was always like really pretty deep into all of those things. And I was trying to just be as active as possible. And that kind of rewarded me over the time, being locked in. And yeah, and in Delta, I'll be working on the product and basically trying to shape the best possible experience for the users, right? And experience LP providers to have all the tooling that you would actually want to have and still don't have even on Solana, to have that on EVM chains, right? Because, little teaser, like in the future, we want also to cover other EVM chains, for sure.
Love it,
be a
boys.
multi-chain
You're men after my own heart. It sounds like we came from around the same time, DeFi summer, early NFT days. Like, love to hear it. But let's jump into the product then, guys. You have Delta. I had the website pulled up here. It looks pretty interesting, and I guess I'm trying to identify. Is this an AMM? What exactly are we looking at here with Delta? Obviously, the one liner here on the top of the page is stake a pool's liquidity, right? So we have liquidity pools is what I'm gathering, and then earn a share of every trade and let the fees compound into depth automatically. Maybe just walk me through like one liner, high level. What is the product here? What is Delta?
Yeah, so I can kind of dig into that a little bit. So we initially launched with 2 products. So this was our stakes and our router. So our stakes pretty much enabled anyone to stake a share of their liquidity or a share of their tokens to any available liquidity pool on Robinhood, and essentially earn a share of the trading fees. So like the point of this was to like obviously incentivize people to build stronger liquidity for tokens for holders, and then yeah, they would obviously like earn a share of fees from it. And then the router is more of a creator tool for devs who want to start compounding liquidity. So I used to research I dug into this a lot actually. And what we found is like, obviously like when you're buying tokens, when you buy them like earlier, obviously like supply is much cheaper. But when you start compounding liquidity pools at earlier stages of a token, it actually it obviously like makes the liquidity pool much more robust. And over time, like that really like exponentially grows into like so much stronger of a liquidity pool. And so
now kind of explain to me why the early stage compounding is important. Obviously, we know the powers of compound interest, right? The earlier you get in, the better. And of course, $1,000 is much more valuable at a $10,000 market cap versus $1 million market cap.
Yeah.
But maybe you could get into kind of the science behind why compounding liquidity earlier is exponentially more valuable.
Well, essentially, like I guess I can kind of compare it with this analogy. So if you were to like buy a token, like you just said, like if you were to buy $1,000 of a token at 10K market cap, you're obviously going to own like, I don't know, a pretty like large
10%.
amount, like pretty substantial amount of supply, right? So if you're owning that and then adding that to the liquidity pool, like obviously we all know that the LP is what is available to be traded to and from on both sides. So if you have 10% of that supply sitting in there that early, you obviously like are able to, you have a much more robust liquidity pool. And then as that grows in market cap, that 10% becomes worth so much more, right? So it's the share of the LP is growing with the market cap. And as people are trading in and out of it, this obviously like that 10% is worth so much more, and it's creating a much more robust chart. So it's not going to be as volatile. It's not going to fluctuate as much when, a 1% clips out of the chart. I don't know if you've ever seen, I think it was on CashCat earlier. We saw a huge like dip in the chart. And when these 1% bags and huge holders start to clip out of these charts, of these thinner LPs, you really start to see, you see it in the chart, and that scares off holders. And so the logic behind the router was to kind of like strengthen that and create stronger charts and give creators something that they can do that with. And then, so moving on from like the router and the stakes, moving on to pools, that was kind of our third update, which is pretty much what we wanted Delta to be, which was our moat of like enabling access to all the different pools and people pooling liquidity and earning fees the same way they would on Meteora on Solana.
That's a big shout out to Meteora. They're actually a sponsor of the show. We just got to update the banner here. But yeah, good. So good friends with Meteora. And I think this is like ultimately what comes down to the crux of this. Finally, someone made a tool to provide liquidity on Robinhood. I mean, I think right now you just like you have Uniswap, you go through Uniswap's pools and like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit kind of situation. Is there anybody else, enabling liquidity provision on Robinhood and then like broader EVM in general? And if so, what's your moat, I guess, against them coming over to Robinhood and creating their own liquidity pools or decentralized liquidity pools, I guess I should say?
I'll let V's touch on this a little bit. I initially don't know of anyone else. Our focus, like I've seen multiple different products, kind of talking about liquidity infrastructure and stuff, but like not really in the same way that we're really placing our focus on it. Like for Delta, our moat really is like the liquidity layer of Robinhood chain. We don't kind of have that much interest in expanding beyond that. Because we really want to do like one thing exceptionally well as opposed to doing 10 things moderately like decent. So that's really our goal. And then, yeah, I'll let V's kind of get into that because he's focused a lot on the product side of things.
Yeah, to the extent that we basically know, right, the way our pools work and which shapes we provide to form the liquidity in the way, there are no competitors right now out there that provide functionality that we provide on Robinhood Chain. Maybe in the future they will come up, but most of those that are currently there, even Uniswap themselves, they just provide you the option to do it in a spot way, choosing your range and just a spot formation. So it's just like a default one, and it's on every platform so far there. And that was also our like huge advantage, right? Why we took off, I think, the way we did, right, and got picked up was that we really tried to enable the experience to be like as close as possible as Meteora on Solana. Even though on EVM currently it's not fully possible, right, technically to do it like exactly the shape that you would have it on Solana, right? But it's as close as possible. And in the future, when we will be building out also the MM part of the project, right? We will be looking into that, solving also that problem of shapes, distribution, and how the bins are formed to have them as exactly as possible as we had it on Solana, you know?
So V's, maybe you could help me get into a bit of your strategy here then. You said we're trying to make it extremely familiar, right? It should look like it does on Meteora. Maybe the bin shapes slightly vary because it is EVM. But is this a part of the strategy here, just like familiarity and tapping into those people that already provide liquidity on Solana that might want to provide liquidity on Robinhood?
Yeah, counting Robinhood is like a new chain, right? That just came out like about 2 months ago, right? We really wanted to provide the experience that usually you would be already having in Solana, and that was our leverage. So, and that's also our aim and goal, to make it as equal as it would be on Solana, but even better with things that could be done already on Meteora. And we think about that would benefit Meteora to have as options and as functions. We will develop that on Delta, on Robinhood, and then try also to expand that to other EVM chains. So basically, we would be the go-to product and platform for pooling, LP pooling on EVM chains. That's kind of our goal. Yeah.
Very nice. Makes a ton of sense. Actually, I'm going to circle back to that question I had originally, Omen, with you. You said you choose EVM over Solana. And of course, when we think of Delta and we think of Robinhood chain being the newest shiny EVM chain, I think personally a very sticky chain just based on Vlad Tenev, CEO of Robinhood, the massive retail audience Robinhood has. I just do think this is going to be a sticky chain, maybe even more so than something like Base, and it's probably going to get a lot of retail users. With that said, why do you choose EVM or Robinhood more specifically over Solana? And when you look at the broader landscape of a new chain like Robinhood, you got to think, well, there are these buckets that kind of need filled, right? We need a Launchpad, which is why you see a million Launchpad with people trying to pop up for the competition. But we need AMM, we need market makers. We need all these things, all these little buckets on new chains. Is that kind of where you guys are thinking like, hey, we need this AMM liquidity provision bucket. We're going to provide that, be the first to market to do it. We happen to have the expertise. And I kind of like EVM more than Solana. So it's a loaded question I gave you, Omen, but maybe start me at the top. Like, why do you prefer EVM over Solana? And then talk me through, I guess, is this just like a plug and play strategy you guys are implementing here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. It's really like, it's a cumulative thing of like everything that you just sort of answered. And I'm actually going to flip it around. It's less about the fact that I personally like EVM more than Sol right now, and more about the fact that Robinhood is the shiny new chain. It's definitely like a more sticky chain that we've seen pop up. I'm sure you've been around for everything that people have like hopped across to, from TON to Tron to BNB to all these different chains, and we see how kind of like volume will come and go. It will come for maybe a week, and then everyone kind of pivots back to Sol. I would almost argue that this is the first time that we've really seen this this type of volume stick around. So it's been really exciting in that sense. And yeah, it's also been another combination of, we don't have the right liquidity infrastructure. I mean, we do, it exists, but it's not in kind of a usable format for the general public of traders and people who really want to be providing liquidity on EVM. So it was very much kind of that type of decision, as well as, it's not saturated yet. We don't have it. So let's build it and let's be the first to do it and do it right. So it was mainly it was mainly that logic, and then kind of personally over my years of trading, when I have hopped over to ETH and BNB and EVM chains, I personally enjoyed it a lot more. I think that I like the way the charts move. It's almost like a different trading approach, where people, I'm not exactly sure if it's the nature of traders, but it's a different style of trading. It's almost like people kind of buy and hold and wait, as opposed to this hyper sped up vacuum of up and down on Solana that we often see. So when I was trading, I kind of got very tired of the typical behavior that we see on Sol. And when I jumped onto various EVM chains, I really kind of liked what I saw. So it's kind of, like I said, it's a combination of the different answers I just provided. And yeah, I think it's definitely much better for building on, given everything I just said.
Got you. And I'm trying to access the site here, but it looks like it's down. Have you guys noted that the site's temporarily down, or am I just doing something wrong?
No, I was watching you do that, and I am on it right now. I do not.
Yeah, that was kind of distracting me for a second. It's working on my end.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know if you guys would be able to, but there is a screen share option on the bottom. I would like to kind of showcase that a little bit. I'm having trouble popping up myself though, but
sorry about that. Yeah, I'll take a look at that once we're out of here.
Yeah, Scoops, you could try to screen share.
Yeah, I can do it. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, but I think this is very cool and very interesting. We had a great question from Crypto Jones. Obviously, we know Solana is like still largely, obviously, a massive retail audience. They probably still have a majority of the volume. I haven't checked recently, but Crypto Jones says it's a great idea. Meteor is a fantastic platform, but I think with projects like Sunrise DeFi, bridging assets to Solana, it kind of makes projects like yours obsolete. And so I kind of want to ask about this because we do see technology like Sunrise DeFi, which is a Wormhole Labs product, which is basically taking projects on Robinhood, taking projects, equities, whatever it might be, and then creating liquidity pools on Solana. So you can have Robinhood native ecosystem tokens on Solana, which I think is very cool. Of course, it depends on how quick they are to list it, how quick they are to get it over. What's your rebuttal maybe to someone that says, okay, a Sunrise DeFi or a porting company that ports projects over to Solana to those native traders makes something like this obsolete? Would you agree, disagree? What's your thinking there?
I would disagree because like how degens and overall like people on chain work, they usually trade the assets on the chain where it was created and when the main destination is. So porting like big memes or big coins to Solana, it's a great tech, right? It's nice to have that, but the real volume, the biggest volume, will still stay on the main mother chain, right, where it got launched. So I think that's why you want also to have that solutions on the native chains and offer the best possible experience, right, on that given chain. So I don't think it will be bothering us or being any competition. It's nice to have. It's good to have that multi-chain, right, access. And Solana, of course, still has great volume and activity. But the same Cashcat coin trade on Solana in comparison to Robinhood, it will be like 10 times less volume, right?
Yeah.
There will be some Solana natives jumping on it, but Robinhood already onboarded so many users, wallets, and the trading activity is that high, and unique wallets is pretty high that it will just stay on Robinhood, like the majority of the volume. So we are not like bothered about that.
Yeah, I'm even kind of just checking it out here, and I'm seeing like 400,000 of 24-hour volume, 1.27 market cap for just Cashcat. So that's kind of just like backing up what V's just said. I would definitely agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very peak, even to add to your points, like we saw they ported over Cashcat. And I think the day they ported it over was when it was really hot, maybe captured 20%, which was meaningful volume. Don't get me wrong, but again, like the native chain is going to always capture, I think, the most. So makes a ton of sense. Maybe talk me through like a tech perspective on the back end. We want to know how sustainable is this? How much can this grow? From a tech lift perspective, like what does it take on the back end to keep this up and running 24/7? Make sure the site works, make sure this is executing fast and accurately. I don't know if someone could give me a little bit of insight on on the tech lift that it takes?
Sure. Yeah, that's probably my end. I mean, honestly, it's
Yes.
probably not as much as you think as of right now. I mean, obviously, like running our own infrastructures, just like archive nodes, things like that, that backfill all the blocks, and basically, keep us on real time. I think the chain's not super fast. I think it's 10 blocks a second. So, keeping up to speed, making sure charts are reflecting properly. We got real time data, things like such. Yeah, honestly, other than that, as of now, it's not too much heavy lifting on the back end. We're kind of walking into like a private testing time with the AMM we've been working on for a long time. That is obviously, a lot more heavy lifting on the back end and some serious security work. But yeah, as of now, not too much. Because obviously, we're using Uniswap's pooling system more or less and adapting it to work for the user. So.
Okay, got you. No, great answer. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe talk to me about the decentralized approach here. Obviously, I think everyone's pretty familiar with Meteora here on the show. In your case, obviously they thrive from this decentralized approach. A lot of people providing liquidity, making things have deeper liquidity, and of course, making things readily available as soon as they launch. How does this work for you guys? Are you guys providing and offering basically every asset that launches on Robinhood chain, or what's the limitations to this?
Yeah, so right now it's essentially every Uniswap V3 pool or V4 pool. There is some hookless pools that I do not have enabled right now just for security things, and obviously working on the AMM, so I haven't dove fully into how to make those work. But yeah, essentially if you launch a Uniswap V3 pool through Pawns, any of these providers right now, you can hop on in here and check it out. And bid ask curve spot just like on Meteora.
Nice. I love that. So you pretty much offer everything under the sun on the Robinhood chain for the most part.
Yeah, more or less. Yep.
Okay, I got you. What about from like a user metrics perspective? Are you seeing this start to gain traction? I want to kind of get into some of the yields you can earn, some of the success you've been seeing. Of course, these are dynamic, these change. But are you seeing people come and provide liquidity? Obviously, it's a very popular thing on Solana, so maybe it's going to take some time for it to happen on Robinhood. But what are you seeing growth look like internally from a metrics perspective?
Yeah, we launched, let's see, it was probably 10 days ago now. We launched pools 4 days ago. And right now we've had a total of 221 positions created and over $2,000 in fees claimed. That does not include actual open positions still. I know myself and V's, for example, also have open positions right now. But yeah, it's again, very similar to Meteora. It's can be quite profitable. You need to know what you're doing with pooling, of course. And that's something that's very important. And we just opened the Discord yesterday. We're kind of looking to, get people that are not familiar with this system to get in there and teach them how to use it, things like that, and kind of get that going. Right now, we're really focused on the community. We want to get those metrics up, but we're real happy with that. 3-4 days, over 220 positions made, over $2,000 in claim fees is something awesome, and I think it can reflect, the future is bright for sure.
I think those stats are really good. What kind of strategies do you offer? Again, we kind of go back to Meteora again because it's familiar, but what bid ask, like what kind of different strategies do you guys can you actually choose from? Maybe if you can pull up on the screen too, that would be fantastic.
Sure. Do you see my screen share? I thought you got popped it up. Let's see.
Yeah, I got it popped up.
Good.
Yep.
So yeah, similarly to let's chart out Meteora. We have bins. Obviously, this is a little different because we're on EVM, but we have the spot, the curve, the bid ask, right? Spot is just basically a flat liquidity provision. Curve is obviously a more direct
triangle,
aggressive one, yeah.
And then bid ask is obviously something where you'd be looking to find a range, right? Something like that, and bounce up and down, get in that range, and then obviously claiming fees or gaining fees on that as you go. So,
and can you go with one-sided pools here or? Only two-sided?
Yep.
Yeah.
Both. And the bins are a bit different. So obviously, the AMM is in, like I said, private testing right now, but utilizing Uniswap, what we were able to do is basically take their, pretty simple pools. And when you make a deposit, the larger bins take your deposits and create larger liquidity throughout, depending on how many bins you have. And this will all be hosted in-house shortly, but yeah.
All right, very cool. Obviously, we know also with like dynamic fees, when there's a lot of volume, you can make a ton of fees on some of the stuff. I'm just not sure if it's different on EVM chain. Again, like myself, and I don't think a lot of people have experience outside of you guys really with providing liquidity on EVM. Are fees dynamic? Do you make more money when there's more volume? Can you just walk me through? I know it sounds basic, but like, what are some of the opportunities you guys are seeing on here, and like maybe walk me through some of that, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it is very different, especially right now, and this is the gap I think we aim to fill. I think with Uniswap before, especially the new hooks and all that stuff going on, their dynamic fee system is awesome. But for the most part, I don't think we see that much on EVM. It's generally pretty flat, pool percentages like a 1%, this, that. And yeah, so that is the big goal, I think, for us to fill here, right? I think that's something Meteor did very good on Solana was they basically, we came from, Radium and doing just normal farm stakes, similar to what we have actually. And then, basically having a dynamic fee that changes upon, a bunch of parameters, right? Which one makes the user, potentially make more fees. It makes the protocol do better. And overall, just a net positive for everybody, right? But right now, for the most part on EVM, especially, in this ecosystem, it's pretty, I wouldn't say stagnant, maybe that's not the right word, but flatlined, if you will, right? There's not too much variance.
So like, most pools are 1-1, right? 1% in, 1% out on buys and sells. What would you adjust the fee to? I'm assuming you can set your own fee. Would you make the fee on your pools like 0.95 just to slightly undercut the 1%, so it's routed through you guys? I mean, when you go to Solana, there's a lot of people kind of becoming AMMs, popping up and trying to get flows basically through their market maker. With that being said, the ones that typically get it simply are the ones that provide the best, like the lowest fees.
Right.
With this, you're the only one, so it makes it really easy for you guys, I think, to just undercut the norm, which is I think 1%. How much fees are you guys charging on your pools? Is it 0.95 or?
Yeah, well, no. So as of right now, again, we're using Uniswap's like backend infrastructure to like do the pools. So depending on what the tokens were created with right now, or pools rather, we're basically taking whatever that pool is, and like if it's a 1%, whatever it is, we're using that. The goal is to take our own AMM and essentially, most likely undercut it. But the dynamic structure is really what we're looking to do, and there's a lot that goes into that, right? And yeah, I guess.
Also, like on the fees part, we basically currently are charging like 1% on the claimed fees overall when you close the pool. So that's the current structure. Okay. And in the future, we will be wanting to expand that to have like a protocol fee overall through pools created through us. And yeah, the strategy will be also to offer like custom percentages that basically will just make the routes go through us, right? And with having good TVLs, we will be having better bin ranges, more concentrated liquidity, which basically then will just force other providers of swaps basically routes through us. So that will be the main strategy. And of course, we will be trying to establish as much partnerships as possible also with the main providers of swaps on EVM, right? To get integrated, to get routed through. So yeah, that will boost us by a lot.
Okay, so maybe we walk down that direction. What does that process look like? Obviously, when you look at products like this, it feels like BD is less of an importance and more so like having the best fees, because naturally you're going to get routed all those flows. So like that's part of it, but also like just getting integrated in the first place is a big thing. So what kind of like BD are you guys doing today, and maybe partnerships you guys are looking to establish?
Yeah, in terms of BD and partnerships, we currently are looking and in talks to get integrated into the main platforms that are aggregating swaps. And yeah, like while we are building our MM, I cannot really teaser them, but like it's the main ones that are basically there on chain. And counting, we are on the stage where we want to get our MM out. That will follow up after the MM is up. And that will be then a priority to be done there, because currently it's just like we just recently launched, right, and we got a lot of DMs up. A lot of people are hitting up us up, right, to communicate, to get known, to partner. So yeah, there's a lot of chats and talks going through, but we are focused literally on the product, right, more. on the experience first, build that out, and when it will be ready, then the partnerships will follow up to get things established and like rooted through and overall like established. Yeah.
Okay, got you. Maybe talk me through fees and like business model, right? So you mentioned you're taking 1% of claim fees, right? So if I make $1,000 in fees, you guys keep 1% of that. Is that the current business model, or maybe talk me through the business model, how that works? And of course, this is going to tie into like the token's value, but would love to hear like the business model here.
Should I take on it?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. So the business model is pretty simple. We are currently charging the 1% fee on claimed fees. So our goal is just to grow the user base of the platform itself by establishing partnerships, by partnering with communities that are actively LPing on different chains. Also partnering with the communities that already jumped on Robinhood and are actively pooling and being active on the Robinhood chain. We know about them. I know them personally. And we will be hosting and doing different activations with them to get them on our platform, also share about their experience with our platform and get it on socials up. And to also gain just the user share, because we are preparing something bigger, right? So the user share is currently the main metric for us. It's not about even like how much revenue we will be claiming through this period. It's more about establishing the user base and then shipping the AMM. And on top of that, while having the whole protocol build up and having revenue flowing, we will just have like 10x or even more of what we are currently charging, right? So just going through as like a default mechanic of the protocol, kind of, right? As Meteora does that also, right? Under the hood, on the back end, where you're just like providing liquidity and you're using the tool, you're using the platform, and all the fees generated, there's like a certain split that we will determine, and that will be our revenue. So currently, it's more about establishing the brand, establishing the user base, establishing also the experience for users, right? To be as close as what they used to. And that will be the main goal for like the coming days, I would say, and this month. And until the MM is up, that's the main goal. And after that, we will move on to having like the whole revenue flow and tokenomics also attached to that coming up when the MM will be up. Because currently you can do different things in terms of tokenomics and put that out for people just to be kind of bullish, right? And get good news and have some understanding. But in the current form of things, right, that we have, they would be just like a thing to do a check mark on, and they wouldn't really have an impact, right? Or they wouldn't be really feasible. So that's why like our main goal is to build out the MMM and then establish tokenomics, have proper metrics of the revenue flowing in, and connect all the things together, right? And have like a big answer for the things that everyone is waiting for, Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, basically what I'm gathering from this is you have the 1% on claim fees. That's the business model as of now until the AMM is ready to go. And you're largely just focusing on user acquisition. Like, let's just get users on the platform. We'll be a little loss leaders for a little bit. Which leads me to my next question. If you're willing to be loss leaders, obviously fees are going to be low as you guys start off. And it doesn't seem like it's your priority, which I love. Uber strategy, kind of burn for a little while till you have that user base, and then you can become majorly profitable. But what does your funding look like? Have you guys received funding? Are you seeking funding? Are you bootstrapped? And what's like your runway?
Who wants to take on the question?
I can take on
Omen?
part of it.
Okay.
We don't currently have funding. Like, we're obviously like pretty much self-funded. Aside from the platform fees that V's described. That being said, like, we've had several people kind of like reach out to us and propose the idea of funding and connecting us with certain people. So we're all kind of like we're very open-minded as a team, and we're all sort of just kind of like watching everything come through the door and evaluating our options. We're in by no means like any rush. We're all very much perfectionists, and we're very meticulous and intentional with how we're kind of like moving and making our decisions. So it can obviously be like very pressuring like running a project and stuff, but we're very like, we have our vision, we know kind of where we need to be and where we want to go. So we're kind of like moving according to that, and being like just kind of like mindful and open to everything in the process. And V's, if you want to elaborate on that or add anything, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Omen. Our vision is clear. We know what we need to do. We had like really serious people reaching out and connecting with us, right? And getting proposals here and there. We are reviewing them, and of course, we keeping our communications with everyone. And we're happy that we get such high level interest to us. And we will try to, of course, leverage that at some point. But like, we are not ready to like use everything right now, go like gigabig, but in reality the product will be just lagging behind. We are not about that, we don't want like the short-term quick hype kind of way of things flowing. We are more into like, we want actually to establish real things, feasible things, real revenue, real usage. And then we can actually leverage also all the connections, all the people that reached out, and overall want to get involved, right, and get the right energy, right flow going, right. So that's kind of the goal and aim, and that's our approach. We want to build it out and get a solid foundation, and then leverage everything that so far happened with us, because it kind of like the attention, the people, and overall that like I would say the community and holders that came into our coin, they front run like our kind of product, right, deliverment, because we were so early and we were just like getting started, and they already were all in, and the thesis formed also pretty quick. So we are happy about that, and we continue to deliver. We are for sure there to stick to our plan and deliver as much as possible and get the best experience out there. And we'll follow through. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of like my thinking behind this, is just gauging, as somebody holding the token maybe, or somebody looking to invest in this, like how much runway do they have? Are they going to be able to sustain for 3, 6, a year plus if it takes some time to get the ball rolling, which we know startups typically do. So I guess that was kind of the crux of my question, I guess. So maybe to even put the bow on that, is runway an issue?
Not at all.
Not at all.
We are fully sustainable. Yeah, we are fully sustainable, and most likely can easily build for a year without even thinking about additional funding. So
I think just to add on what V said, I think like a very key word that he said in there is leverage. That's definitely like kind of like our wheelhouse right now, and what our focus is. And kind of once we've built that up to where we as a team are all very happy where we're at. Not to say that we aren't right now, but we have, like I said, we have our vision, and to get that leverage to where we want is when we'll kind of like move on the things that we just touched on.
Love it. And how does this tie back into token? I guess V's, you kind of got into it a little bit, and we talked about this. You're willing to be loss leaders for a little while. You got a full tokenomics thing coming. Could you just give us some like directional idea? Can we expect the token to be tied to platform success? Obviously, there's been this disconnect in the past where you would have these tokens. You guys are from OG ETH Day, so you remember you'd have these 5 tokens, 5% tax in, 5% tax out, but no one would ever get ownership of the protocol. You'd kind of just be having like a meme proxy to holding this. Something like this, I could see the protocol really doing well and getting a lot of attention. Of course, being the first mover in this field. Can we expect token holders to have some sort of meaningful like ownership or upside in the success of this company?
Yes. They will definitely will have the access and connection. It will be direct, so I think like we will provide really good updates to token holders, and they will for sure be happy to be holding our coin and our token, because we will directly tie it up the way we would like to have it actually if we would be investing in a coin of a protocol like that. So we have vast experience, and we saw so many different types of models getting released and underperform, right? For different reasons. But counting that experience, we will use that to leverage it as best as possible and make an experience that we actually would like to have ourselves if we would be buying our coin and tying it up to the protocol. So
Yeah, and I guess to follow on to that, you have a few of these options, right? Like on Robinhood, a lot of what we're seeing right now is just simply the buyback and burn method. I think Pawns is doing like 80% buyback and burns. A lot of the like stock paired platforms doing the buyback and burns. Whereas you have on like the converse side, something like a MetaDAO, which is like IP treasury ownership, so on and so forth. Is there a model that stuck out to you guys as something you've seen work? Because we've seen some work really well and some work really poorly. Just to help me kind of get some more insight on where your heads are at.
Yeah, usually the best thing for the coin to work out well is actually the team delivering, having proper communications, and the product being nice and good and performing well. So here we will be looking in the same direction. Yeah, there are like a lot of great examples out there, but usually it only works if the platform and the product and the coin is directly connected in the right way, and the team is actually depending on the coin, right? So if the coin performs well, the team also earns well and has a good future. So most of the protocols I see, at least, they're usually like the teams are too safe, right? And they don't really care what will be happening with the coin. Only at certain milestones they boost it up, right, for unlocks or whatever. But overall, through the longer time period, they're not really caring what is happening with it in between, right? But I think the best model is when you directly tied up, for example, like Hyperliquid, to the success of the coin, for the coin to perform, to actually be a successful company. Or, for example, BNB of Binance. So I think those models are the best ones that are out there. And yeah, expect something similar in that direction to come out of our coin and in the future.
Okay, looking forward to it. Is there a timeline on that when we can expect that?
Yeah, as I said also previously, I think it will be directly connected to the release of our right, for public access. So most likely we will tie it up maybe in before, or maybe at the same time, or maybe a little shorter after. Yeah, I think in that time period. And the timeline is kind of, maybe Scoops can elaborate that, like give like an estimation. Approximately, yeah.
Maybe we even have like this AMM discussion. Not everyone here is familiar with what an AMM is. Can you kind of explain, what an AMM is, why this is important for you guys to bring to market, and then like the V said, maybe like general timeline on that.
Yeah, Scoops, could you take on it?
I'm sorry, V's, you got to take this 1 second. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, I can start with it, and then Scoops goes more to the technicals, okay, which I cannot cover, right? So basically, yeah, the MM will be there we were creating it for the reason of getting a proper system of routing and platform usage on our side, which basically will be a whole protocol, right, that we are building up. And that AMM will be enabling us to provide like experience that is fully in-house from us hosted, right? And it will be enabling more options, more deliverable expected value for the people also using the platform. And it will be completely from our side. So the liquidity, all the pools, all the like tech will be hosted through Delta and routed through Delta. So we can directly impact or manage the way how fees are getting generated and how liquidity is getting routed. So yeah, if to talk like in that words, it's like basically my human understanding of the things, right? Basically, all the swaps that people will do on a specific coin, for example, if they buy Cashcat in a range of like 100 mil and 95 mil market cap, if our users pool that range, all the swaps in that range, or majority of them, if we have like big liquidity, good TVL, it will be covered, right? So it will be not like a certain percentage, it will be like almost competing at the same level with Uniswap. If, for example, our TVL on our website will be 100K, but Uniswap only has like 10K there, right? Majority of our TVL will be used and active in the swaps, and our users will generate most of the fees, like more fees even compared than to Uniswap. So that's kind of the goal, right, that we want to achieve, because currently we are just utilizing, we're giving a like advanced experience via Uniswap, but we want to take over like the whole experience to us and provide the custom experience, but also have it hosted on our protocol. So yeah, we will get all the revenue that usually Uniswap currently makes, you know?
And to
So,
see
yeah.
this be successful, I mean, we've seen Meteora kind of create this AMM, and they've had multiple launch pads, MetaDAO included. MetaDAO, EasyA, Believe back in the day, you name it. Almost all the launch pads on Solana right now are routed through Meteora's AMMs or built on top of it. What would that look like from your perspective in terms of BD? Are you going to Ozzy from Pawns? Are you going to Nate from Long? Like, are you going to these launch pads and saying, hey, we're going to provide this service for you? Would you want to use us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in the future, we will be going similar routes, right? For expanding and for BD stuff to actually capture more share. And main thing is, of course, like users and usage. That will be the main goal. And by expanding that, of course, we will be also partnering with protocols, with launchpads, with people that want to create coins, people that want to trade coins also. And yeah, it will enable a lot of things overall, if to say, right?
And so what's their benefit, right? If I'm Pawns or I'm Ozzy, or for example, we saw Stockbrokers as a launch pad. They recently partnered up with UP. What would like the benefit of Pawns, for example, partnering up with you guys be over just having their current pools on Uniswap and or maybe partnering with somebody like UP? What are the benefits for these launch pads?
For these launch pads, the benefits would be that we will enable experience and fees generation that other protocols cannot provide. And overall, it's more about shipping the experience that usually you cannot get on other platforms, right? So that will be the main benefits on our side. And being really robust, versatile, we have really great speed of, I would say, shipping things, right? And working. We're a pretty fast team and overall like pretty young and hungry, right, to deliver. So I think that will be the main benefits because there's huge experience behind our backs and we are really hungry to deliver, So yeah.
I love that. Maybe also, again, like I'm not extremely familiar with the UP platform outside of just like a quick look. I do know they just partner with Stockbrokers. Like that was a big moment for them. Are they competitors to you guys or like where do they sit in terms of, is Uniswap a competitor to you guys? Is UP a competitor to you guys or not so much?
I wouldn't say they are really competitors, I think we have our own vision and our own way of growing and where we're headed. And I think we will just overcome them by delivering better and real experience that is like better designed, better flow, better user interface. We are going that direction, We are like people that use our product ourselves, right? Every day. And that's the main advantage I think that we have because those protocols and projects, they're all great, nice, and they did well and will be doing well, I'm sure. But we are not looking at them as competitors, right? Or that they will influence in any way our success. I think we will grow on ourselves, right? And we will have our own way of taking over. And we will be just like in the speed of shipping, in the mood of shipping and delivering, we will just take over, at some point. So yeah, we will just stick to our flow, to our speed, and we will make it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that a little bit as well, kind of going back to like what I said earlier, our main focus is just doing one thing exceptionally well. When you go to our website, you should like or our Twitter, for example, like you should immediately be able to identify what we do. When you go, for example, onto Uber, like they do one thing well and they get you a car. They're not offering to get you a boat and a limo and a plane. And, it's like, so like V said, a lot of these projects are exceptionally well and exceptionally talented teams, or they're doing exceptionally well, sorry, and are backed by exceptionally talented and smart people. But a lot of the time, what I find is like when I look at what they're doing many things well. And I think that's the advantage that we have is we're doing one thing exceptionally well. And that's only going to be our core focus. We're not really paying attention to what other people are doing. We're paying attention to our journey and what we want to accomplish in regards to our vision. And I think just going back to what you were saying about like how is it beneficial for a platform like Pawns to partner with us? Well, that's the advantage is we're focused on that one wheelhouse and doing that exceptionally well. And that's something, you know, just the same way that their focus is being the best launchpad on Robinhood chain. You know, our focus is being the best liquidity layer for Robinhood chain, and eventually, you know, Omni chain as well, like V's teased earlier.
Well, you know what? Let me know when you guys are doing that BD push, because I'd be happy to connect you with every single launchpad on Robinhood and hopefully get the ball rolling there a little bit. Guys, this has been a very cool conversation.
Thank you very much.
I want to gear this towards roadmap. You guys published recently a just idea on roadmap direction. And by the way, I love the reporting. You know, kind of the investor relations here is pretty good. But walk me through what comes next, and then we'll kind of close off here with like just grand vision, talking about like the total addressable market here and all that. But real quick, roadmap. What's coming for you guys?
I can hop back in. I apologize. I have a monster puppy that is doing some damage.
What breed?
He's a Newfoundland.
Oh, okay.
And he's 80 pounds or something like that. 80 something pounds. He's 6 months old. So he gets out and he can do some damage. Anyway, I can hop on the roadmap though.
All good.
Let me pop it up right here. So obviously, you know, we have what's shipped. We look at a lot of things in the roadmap, such as, you know, things we've talked about, or V's, I guess, alluded to, that Meteor has a lot of awesome features. They are the pioneer in this. They are fantastic, you know, kudos to them, right? But we really want to provide, you know, a better user experience, I guess. Things like automation with pooling, things like that. Obviously, things like config presets, as you see there, and you know, the AMM, as we've already talked about. So yeah, I mean, overall, what I'd say is the AMM is obviously the big, you know, the big picture here. It's very in depth, and you know, it can provide a lot for Robinhood in general. But yeah, as of now, I would say, you know, I am diligently working on the AMM and, you know, day-to-day things. You know, we just opened Discord. We have bug fixes, things like that, new feature requests. So the team is also working on, you know, just overall user experience day-to-day, just trying to make it better for everybody and really get the, you know, Meteora style LPing on Robinhood seen and, you know, an easy thing to use for people that have never done it before, right?
Okay, I love it. Also, I mean, now that we got you, I'm not sure if you want to touch more on the AMM and like the benefits that'll bring. Obviously, this seems to be like the main sprint that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
V's did a great job explaining, but I just maybe want to get your take as well.
Yeah. I heard some things while I was dealing with him. You were talking about like, why would launchpads, you know?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like to build a base for an AMM, you want, you know, a lot of launch pads using your product, you know, a lot of people, a lot of volume, right? So like maybe generally explain like why an AMM is positive, why this is not something that's already offered on Robinhood, what exactly it is, and how you're doing it better.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess if like to touch on like, let's say Pawns, for example, right? They launch on Uniswap and they get, you know, I think they're exclusively Uniswap v3 right now. But to use something like what our AMM will be, for example, it can offer, you know, large customization, right? So things like, of course, that we've talked about many times, fees, liquidity provisioning. It's somewhat hard to explain, but it gives launchpads customization, right? And that is something that, you know, I think most launchpads would love, right? And any user, right? If you're launching a token, especially on Solana, we've seen it a lot of times. There's, you know, not as much anymore, but because Pump Fund's taking the share, but a lot of launchpads, you know, creators want customization. They want things like Meteor actually offered. You know, you can launch on the DBC or DMM now, and you know, different styles, I guess, if you will. Because right now it feels very cookie cutter. Does that make sense? Sorry if I'm.
No, it makes absolute sense. And interestingly, I'm going to kind of compare Pawns to Pump Fun of Robinhood, right? Pawns is like the leading launch pad. Now we saw Pump Fun after a while. They switched from Radium's AMM to their own custom AMM. Do you foresee Pawns or anyone for that matter saying kind of Uniswap's a standard right now, just like Radium used to be the standard? Let's go with somebody like the Meteora of the chain, which, you know, you could call Delta. And I'm not sure if you guys like that comparison or what. It's just the easiest to make.
It's an honorable comparison.
It's a very honor. It is.
Yeah.
So how do you foresee that? Do you think Pawns goes and creates their own AMM because it can be very profitable, or do you think they go with somebody like yourself and that kind of expands beyond just Pawns to every launch pad?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a difficult one. I think Pump Fund did it because I guess they literally stole the share, right? I mean, it was, I don't know what the market share was at that point, but Pawns is,
they were the market.
Right, and they still are, right? I mean, it's insane. So it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, Pawns obviously is leaning towards that kind of like Pump Fund-esque market share. But yeah, I mean, again, listen, at the end of the day, if we as a team can do what we want to do at Delta, we can provide things that will just only amplify all of these launch pads, right? And at the end of the day, if our AMM does what we needed to do, it gets the eyes, we do, the networking and marketing, everything goes as well. We're going to be that platform that these launch pads want to use, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to kind of be that flagship of liquidity on Robinhood, if that makes sense. So, it is a hard question. Pawns, at the end of the day, they could make their own AMM. There's nothing anyone can do to stop it. But all we can do at our end is work as hard as we can, ship, and hopefully provide that platform where launchpads want to use us, right? So
the most unique situation I see here is like you guys mentioned, look, we're good on runway, but like any other funding could accelerate what we're building. I think about something like Pawns, who doesn't have their own AMM. Like, why doesn't Pawns, angel or put a check into something like Delta, and you guys build out an AMM for them. You guys build the infrastructure. They own a piece of the company and also accelerate the growth of this. Like, that becomes very interesting because Pawns has made a lot of money.
Oh,
and
yeah.
20% of their fees are there for something. It's like, kind of feels like the obvious solution. They might not have the bandwidth to build out an AMM, but the AMM guys do, right? So have you guys thought about something like that?
I think that's a question for them, to be honest. We can't really sit here and be like, oh yeah, Pawns should invest in obviously, obviously,
but we are connected. But we are connected with them. Yeah, we have a chat with them, direct chat. So yeah.
Yeah. For what
you're talking to Ozzy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. All right. Well, I'm throwing out hypotheticals, but
sure, yeah.
I don't know.
They're great. We love it.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
We'll wrap on this, guys. Grand vision. Of course, you mentioned expanding to beyond Robinhood to other EVM chains. We're seeing programmable, some V4 stuff launch on mainnet. Maybe you go across the EVM stack. What's the grand vision of this? How big does something like this get? I kind of want to sit here and understand from a holder. If you give me some Bullium, some Hopium, what does that look like? How big does a protocol like this get?
I want to say as big as we can take it, to be honest. Our vision is really big for it. I think, it obviously can go a long way, right? Like, you can go and stretch the vision as far as you want. Right now, we kind of have our foreseeable goals for the near future and what we're trying to accomplish right now. But personally, me as a team member, I would want to take this as far as we possibly can, whether it means partnering with Pawns, whether it means, getting in touch with people at Robinhood. I mean, obviously, we've already said that it's, it means going omni-chain as an liquidity infrastructure layer. So, we're definitely thinking in that sort of domain, but obviously we have our near future and long-term goals, right? I don't know if anyone else wants to touch on that.
I would say grand vision higher than Meteora.
There you go. Which is about a $90 million market cap right now, fully diluted, more like 150, 170. So, all right. And I mean, they did $100 million in 2025 in revenue. So you take some of that. Obviously, you wouldn't be taking it from Meteora. It's a whole new opportunity here. It's blue ocean over on Robinhood. But there's a lot of money here is what I'm trying to say. So, guys, this has been a fascinating conversation.
We are pretty early. Yeah, I would say we are pretty early with the right timing at the right place, and I think we can cook.
Yeah. Boys, give me the alignment. Everything you said, it's music to my ears. I want to see a token that can align with the upside of this. And I think honestly, you might have told me I might be given the gold buzzer. But also, I guess one last question: doxes. Are you guys planning to dox at any time? Are you staying behind the PFPs? Maybe just the thinking there.
Me personally, I don't really care. I don't have anything to hide. Right now, I'm currently on docs, but kind of as things grow, I'm more than happy to, kind of jump out of from behind the profile picture.
Yeah, we are for sure open for that, and with time, it could happen pretty quick. So really depends on how all things will go and how good we can deliver. But yeah, it's definitely the thing that will be done. And also, like, I personally like docs that personally at events and stuff. Pretty like last 3-4 years of breakpoints, MetaDAO, UPverse, like
I might have seen you then. I was at Breakpoint and MetaDAO. So
yes. So
okay. Okay. Well, so are you V's? Are you in the LP army yourself then? Or like you have a clear? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Since the beginning, kind of when Meteora came out, yeah, it was instantly like a tool that I tried to learn and start to utilize. And since then, yeah, I was pretty deep in the community and also like actively using it still till today. Like I'm opening pools almost daily. So yeah, it's one of the ways to earn passively with little of management, and yeah, I like it a lot.
Wow, undoubtedly, it's great. Guys, I appreciate you. Is the token fully circulating right now?
We have a
yeah. From what I know, I think we have a lock. Yeah, we have a lock of 10%.
Yeah.
Which unlocks like next year. But the rest is fully circulating. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. So 10% lock, but nearly fully circulating. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, boys. I appreciate you. This has been a fascinating conversation. We're going to be keeping up with Delta. I think it's a good opportunity, and appreciate you coming on and breaking it down for us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Was amazing.
Awesome. We'll have to get you again, guys. Peace.
For sure.
Yep.
Later.
Have a good one.
Chill. I got you back up here, man. What do we think, boys? In the chat, how are you feeling?
Nice little segment there. Let me just send off timestamps. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
Boys.
Yeah, that was I guess maybe I'll recap and Chill, you can jump in with some of your thoughts. I'm obviously a big bull on Meteora. You guys have been following me for any amount of time. You know, I'm a Meteora bull. Of course, specifically because of their AMM. Like the thesis with Meteora is largely if volume comes back to Solana or grows on Solana, Meteora by default is a recipient of that. If they can get this AMM right and they can start, it's a slowly then all in one situation. If they can get this AMM right and start to integrate into the pawns, the longs, the programmables, the so on and so forth of this world, when volumes continue to grow or come in by default, they would be beneficiaries of that. Easier said than done, right? Like building these relationships, getting someone on board to use your AMM rather than the one they're already currently with. It's not easy, but we see these launch pads constantly doing iterations, V2, V3, V4. So it's in the cards. What I would really love to see from this team is like get an investment from like a Meteora who's not doing anything on EVM, right? Get an investment from a Meteora, kind of start to like use their distribution and prowess there, or get an investment from like a Pawns to where Pawns maybe uses them as their AMM, which makes sense because right now there's no benefit in Pawns using Uniswap. I guess my question becomes like, what does the competition look like? I know Up is doing really well. They partner with stockbrokers. How does Up differentiate from? I know Up's not creating an AMM, I don't think. So I just need to look into the difference. But I think it's very cool. I think it's a very massive market and a great narrative because every launch pad, if there's no AMMs right now on Robinhood, at some point every launch pad is going to need an AMM or a better AMM on Robinhood. And so I think you find in Kings make the launch pad of choice, right? Call it Pawns. It's also going to need an AMM to go with it. Like it's one of those buckets you have to fill out. We talk about buckets you have to fill out on New Chain. So hopefully that makes sense. But I thought it was very cool, very promising. Just kind of waiting to see user acquisition, growth. This stuff takes time, but I'm pilled.
Yeah, I would say this is a huge opportunity. I mean, we've talked about it on the show before in private. You know, you have a new ecosystem. You need now a new set of players in every category. I think, you know, in the DLM category, I think they have a lot of potential there. There's a lot of room for upside. We saw on Base, there was a DLM protocol on Base actually that I was keeping an eye on, and that caught early traction. I think because of all the Base you know, ecosystem FUD and just Base period, I don't think it caught on. But I think now with DLM on Robinhood, I think that's I mean, you know, obviously Robinhood is having a push for agentic trading. You know, I think that now becomes something that could kind of integrate with that, be a natural fit for that. But ultimately we have to now look at Robinhood chain and understand or question, like, okay, what will retail love? Because it's not about using retail as exit liquidity. A lot of people like keep saying that. Oh, well, we're gonna like it's not retail being used for exit liquidity, is where it's more about where's capital going to flow. I think meme stocks already catch a bid in TradFi. So obviously RWA pairs are going to run. But I think, what if you can actually delim your own stock, drive adoption for tokenized stocks while earning, fees? I think delim is, obviously delimming has done great on Solana, and they, we delim everything over there, from tokenized equities to on-chain runners, etc. And I think that on Robinhood is just an absolutely nice fit. It's just a nice fit. Delim on Robinhood is happening.
So Crypto
already
Jones,
on
I saw your comments in here. Look, you said I still think everything comes to Solana eventually. You have a great product, but in my opinion, you should be looking for an exit. Uniswap makes sense to provide the exit. I don't fully agree with this. I think, yes, Solana will probably dominate retail, but this is like a far out vision. Or maybe they just don't, right? So you have two options. Like, they just don't dominate retail over the long tailwind, or they do, and it's like a year plus out. So like, you still have an entire bull cycle really in line here till we even get meaningfully close to that happening. And so like, fading something because 2, 3, 4 years down the line, plus you see Solana being like the main venue for retail, it's not a very timely thesis.
I think overall, like, obviously everyone realizes that we're early to Robinhood. So there's an early opportunity for, again, every single category. That's number one. Number two, I don't agree with all liquidity will flow back to Solana. I think we're now seeing, with the emergence of social trading and apps like FOMO, apps like GG.xyz, apps like Karma, that just allow you to trade on chain regardless of the chain. Obviously terminals allow you to do that, but like apps like some of these social trading apps do that more seamlessly, like FOMO does, for example, does that more seamlessly. So it's like, at a certain point, you don't really need a particular chain to dominate retail. You really need to, again, pay attention to what is retail going to like. What will retail buy? That's really the question, because the distribution is now being handed off to somebody else. At first, well, there's a couple layers to that. Number one, Robinhood has better distribution than anything that we've ever seen in crypto. They have the largest normie audience. We covered that thesis when we looked at Robinhood two weeks before the chain even went live. So the thesis, as far as distribution, Robinhood wins that game. Solana obviously has a lot of culture moat, but I think that's slowly being eaten away by Robinhood with the way Vlad has been moving on chain. He's obviously been very well taught as far as like how to influence and be a part of crypto culture. I still think, Solana owns the overall mind share, the overall line share of crypto culture. So for sure, volume will flow back to Solana, but I don't think it will be as dominant as it was in past cycles, because quite simply, there's another chain that's a mix of all sorts of communities that, is going to create like a nice little ecosystem over there. There's going to be opportunities everywhere, though. Robinhood, Solana, shoot, we even saw Mars Coin on freaking BNB. I forgot to cover that with you guys early. Like, come on. Like, it's going to be runners everywhere,
Yeah, I think as we get this for the longest time, we're talking about just like chain agnostic pairs only, and like this fractionalization of chains. And I think that's becoming less of an issue as you get every terminal basically saying you can trade whatever you want from our terminal. So like, people are going to be less inclined to be like religious to a chain, I think, in the future. But nonetheless, I think it was cool. Again, like, this doesn't mean it's my complete stamp of approval here. I think like the thesis and narrative is cool, but like, again, no idea. Like, the token is valueless right now, frankly. Token has no value right now. He said they're going to work on value, and there's going to be tokenomics released later, and like, they seem genuine about that. But like, you have to, we have to be real about what we're buying right now. It's an idea. So that's the one downside. Secondly, like, this takes time. It's going to take time for their volumes to pick up, for their users to pick up. Of course, right now it's candling because they were just on MCG and people seem to like it. So like, there goes my entry. But but I would just say, like, think about these things. This isn't necessarily my green light stamp of approval, just because I think it's a really cool thesis. Like, takes time. It's going to take a lot of time to get these users. They're off to a great start. I'll give them that much. And we need token alignment to be thorough and given to us before anything is like really, really looking amazing. But I like it. So also with that said, I'll just bump through some on-chain stuff right now, because we had V4 on Programmable the other day. I was like impressed with this interview. I made it known I was impressed with this interview. It's repriced now from 1 million to 2.3. It's looking good. And we talked about the return to mainnet here with Prism. We're getting a bit of a return to mainnet, boys. Like, we really are. So V4 is looking good. It's in the Uniswap hook meta. They're doing, I think their protocol is doing the hooks more robustly than anybody else that I've really seen. In terms of like offering multiple hooks up to kind of plug and play those hooks as a launch pad. So I think this is really cool. I need to see more launches from them, but I think generally, like, it's a sick idea. So yeah, that looks pretty cool. Deltas, of course, starting to candle up. Hook or chill. I know this is one you've been talking about recently, one I'm trying to get on the show, but this is like a great territory to get interested in it. I don't know what it does. It's a launch pad with a custom Uniswap. Okay. So pretty much exactly what a V4 is, except on Robinhood.
Uniswap founder followed the dev of this as well. So that's kind of why it's also been gaining a lot of traction lately.
Fascinating. Okay, Uniswap dev founder. It's a V4 hook builder launchpad situation native to Robinhood. Okay, interesting. I'll have to like circle back and look at that. Need them on the show. Net's looking really good. This one's just been slow cooking up. And again, not super familiar with what they're doing, but they're coming on Friday to talk to us, which will be cool. Also, in other words, man, Credible. Credible's had a nice bounce. Let's see. Where is my cred? There we go. Credible's had a real nice bounce here. Came back down pretty close to ICO price. It's since bounced up. Again, liquid funds really getting involved with this in a big way. Contra's been bull posting this a ton, so maybe I'll just see what he's posted about, because their first 9 days.
Nice right up.
Yeah. Let's see.
There you go, right there.
Yeah, I'll read this. Here's like a cred TLDR, guys. Obviously, I've been bullish on this since launch. I think this is the strongest MetaDAO launch to date. So really excited about it. But here's Contra. He's been doing a lot of bag working for this. Shout out Contra, great trader. One thing market is not clearly understanding is cred market opportunity. We'll try to break it down. Stripe solved payments for the default internet business. He actually nailed this thesis on the head. Cred is attempting to solve payments for businesses that are global from day one, operate across different difficult jurisdictions, need local payment methods, require fast payouts, use stable coins, or have transaction patterns that traditional payment gateways struggle to underwrite. And he talked about that in our interview with him. The problem, imagine a U.S. internet company expanding globally. Its customers in India want UPI, Brazil wants PIX, Europe wants SEPA. Other markets have their own bank transfer wallets and local payment methods. The company may also need to pay thousands of creators, traders, sellers, or other participants across these countries. Now, add another complication. The business may operate in a category such as creator platforms, trading, stablecoins, fintech, gaming, AI, or another risk-aware vertical where traditional processors may have stricter underwriting requirements. To operate globally, that company could need multiple payment processors, banks, payout providers, compliance partners, treasury systems, and stablecoin infrastructure. Cred's proposition is integrate once and let Credible handle the complexity underneath. With T+0 settlement, we'll cover later on why T+0 is a game changer. Credible isn't necessarily competing with Stripe for Shopify stores and ordinary SaaS subscriptions. Its wedge is the business for which global payment infrastructure becomes complicated. Creator platforms need to collect subscriptions globally and pay creators globally. Trading platforms need fast deposits and withdrawals. Stablecoin compliance needs fiat to stablecoin infrastructure. AI companies can have customers globally and increasingly complex usage-based billing. Marketplaces need to collect from one side and distribute money to another. The common denominator is high transaction velocity plus global user base plus complex risks plus local payment rails plus fast settlement. That is Cred. That is Cred's target market with the payment volume of $1 billion. There's clear product market fit. So guys, we talked about cred, gave you an understanding of what it is. Now, on top of this, they're doing $3.5 million annualized right now. They processed $1 billion already. So they have product market fit. Like, people are using them. This great post I saw Contra post the other day is their first 90 days, right? You can see 30% month over month growth is what cred has had.
Dude, you're talking right now.
Dude, when you talk so much, you just lose your, I don't know what my tongue is doing. But the first 9 days of this month have been incredible. $36 million, nearly $37 million processed in the first 9 days. Now, again, not sure if this is because someone's upped their volume tremendously, or if maybe someone made a massive payment at the start of the month rather than the end of the month, like they typically do. But you can see the month over month growth here: 15 million, 138 million, 147 million, 160 million. And this is not compounding. This is independent each month. We've already got 36 million for the first 9 days, which is incredible. So clear PMF, clear revenue, on chain. And by the way, you can actually own the damn product because of MetaDAO's ownership structure, which is like the cherry on top. So credible, again, looking fantastic. If you want more information, Contra is going to be talking about it. Game's going to be talking about it. These guys have been great about keeping it up to date. So shout out the gang. Oh, dude. Caught the run up on Manlet after your show yesterday. Good looking out. Chill. My guy, we talked about Stonk Fun and how it's a very cool platform and what it enables. And of course, like Butthole and Manlet are like the two runners, and Chill, I think, literally bottom ticked it and it ripped. You want to talk us through that?
G Money, I'm glad you caught that, because literally yesterday we were talking about Stonk Fun, the entire platform, and I was going through basically my top kind of like my top assets on the platform. And I included Manlet, and even Josh was like, no, like, I don't know about Manlet, whatever. I think somebody in the chat said something about it being bundled or something like that. And I'm like, no, like, this could actually run. It could capture Ansem's attention. It helps the Ansem token. And so, because that acts as a natural tailwind, there's really no reason for him to fade it. And so literally we were looking at it 550K market cap. And last night it hit like 8 or 9 mil, literally within minutes after, like, our stream turned off. I went to go slam a buy, and it's already at 5 mil market cap. I was like, what the heck? So giving you guys free game, like, we're out here sacrificing our entries for you guys. So I hope you guys are taking advantage of it. I hope you're getting some value out of it. Yeah, but great ecosystem, great product that they're building there at Stonk Fun. I talked about another one on that platform called Stonks. It's basically like this leverage bet on the entire ecosystem. I think that one is another one that I was interested in, and I ended up writing out like a nice little thesis about that one yesterday on Twitter. If you guys might have seen that, but yeah, I mean, I love what they're doing. I mean, first RWA platform on Solana. Obviously it will do well, and maybe I show you guys my thesis right.
You're lagging for me, brother.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm lagging for me too. What about now?
I mean, you sounded good that sentence, but yeah. Were you loading like a terminal or a tweet up or something?
Yeah, I was loading up a tweet here. Here is the Stonk.Fun platform. Bang. So here's the Stonk.Fun platform. Obviously, main token is doing really well, up 40% on the day. And here's just kind of some general thoughts here.
Can you do me a quick
talk to me?
Favor, when you get done going through the general thoughts, there's a new token called 3 that my boy Theo shouted out. Theo's been on a heater. I think he just ran up 100K PNL.
Bro, publicly. I ain't gonna lie. Theo, if you guys don't follow Theo, because I mean, he doesn't really post crazy on the timeline sometimes. I think in recent days, in recent weeks, he has. But at first, dude, he was just running it up on FOMO and in Telegram, bro. And he's been like on a heater for like 6 months.
Well, he's a Discord warrior. So like I'm sure he's just talking amongst his people in the dwellers chat. Or Unified DAO it's called. Got kicked out of that for my inactivity. Apologies. But yeah, Theo's been on a heater. Y'all should definitely follow him. And yeah, 3 is 3. He just tweeted about 3. So let's if we're looking through the Stonk Fund platform, let's check that out after your little tirade.
Yeah. By the way, I feel your pain. I've also gotten kicked out of several very nice group chats due to my inactivity because of, I'm building MCG for you guys. So again, we're sacrificing stuff. Bro, I was in Phantom Troop. I was in Optimus with
JW.
with JW and Cryptic and some of the other guys.
Speaking of Optimus, man, we got to cover a Kyoto tweet as well. Who's an Optimist native. He put out a tweet on net. He does great work. Kyoto's like a under the ground account. Y'all should be following for sure. But we're gonna cover that later.
Yeah, we definitely got to cover that. We talked about net yesterday, and I told you guys just bid, and it's up today, so we'll cover that today. But basically, this is the thoughts on Stonk. Obviously, the entire ecosystem. It's a very sticky retail narrative. We talked about this earlier. Today, and just for the sake of a clip, I also wanted to just riff off on something real quick, because we have to think about, again, what is retail going to buy? How is retail going to affect the space? You have to think about the on-chain demographics. On Robinhood, you have this sort of combination of EVM native traders and EVM native communities. So you have the BayYC, the Bored Ape Yacht Club guys, getting with Stockbroker. You have some of the early meme guys, some of the SHIB guys getting on Wolf. You have like all these EVM native communities and whales that are now basically coming out of hibernation, essentially, and really willing to buy stuff on chain. So I really think that the Robinhood chain is just kind of made up of some of these OG EVM traders and communities, some of the guys on Solana that perhaps are free degens that are just going to follow the volume anywhere. You catch volume from FOMO, so any of the FOMO traders, they'll likely trade stuff on Robinhood as well. But then you have this huge, massive like retail audience that's ahead of us, and I think that's why Robinhood is going to really dominate this cycle. You have demographics elsewhere, like on Solana, where it's mostly just crypto native traders. How could they reach into retail? Well, they have to put themselves in front of retail, right? Solana has to, they have to be right there with the New York Stock Exchange. They have to kind of like buy their way into TradFi and create that footprint themselves. Whereas, Robinhood already has that footprint created, and they're the ones coming into crypto. And in reality, Vlad hasn't made a misstep. In fact, he's setting the playbook. But that's kind of a reason why Stonk Eco is so interesting, is because both Solana and Robinhood would likely catch a lot of attention and volume. And when it comes to Stonk, it's the only platform of its kind on Solana. It's the only stock pair platform, and I really love the mechanics. The fees go to buying back the top 10 memes on the platform. I think that's really interesting. Whereas compared to other launch pads, sometimes a lot of these launch pads, they just take a cut of the fees and dip. And that obviously is extracting value outside of the ecosystem. And it's good that a lot of these have the buy and burn mechanism. I think that's also a way of injecting liquidity back into the eco. But I think this is the most direct way that you can actually that drive volume and activity on your platform, injecting that capital and that value right back into your ecosystem, benefiting the holders and the traders on there. So yeah, Stonk Eco looks really good here. And I think this token, not I think, but this token Stonks also would do really well because it acts as like a leverage bet, because it stonks the meme paired with Stonk, the main platform token. We even saw launch on we even saw Stonk Fun come out with a tweet to kind of support some of the top memes on the platform. So I think some of these actually will have legs. I mean, to be honest, Believe, Bonk, Printer, many of these other launch pads, they've ran with much less. And this is a retail sticky narrative. And I think this could end up doing well, especially while Pump Fund focuses on the social trading side. Amp, are we bulled up on Tree?
I like Stonk Fun, but I like it, boys.
Yeah. Any quick thoughts while I pull up the Tree chart?
Same thoughts I had when it was at like what, 4 million. It's just, I mean, it's cool. I haven't seen another platform on Solana offer like meme coin pairing, private equity pairing, and equities pairing. Like they offer everything. Every platform I'm seeing, even on Robinhood, it's offering just like one of the three, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, Long XYZ is offering the stock pairing, Perps Pad offering the Perps pairing, so on and so forth. But like I'm saying, Stonk Fun is actually, SF Stonk Fun is actually offering more than all the other ones on Robinhood that have been running a lot because of this narrative. So I do really like it. But yeah, Tree's a new launch. We should give it a look-see.
Yeah, so here is the I like this tweet. Only the Apple X stocks earned from launch from Stonk Fund are eligible to redeem seeds. Market buying's Apple X won't count. Happy. So how does that work? Like, how is that possible?
Let's get on their website and get some DD going here. Tree designed for the rest of us. Enter the garden. We'll enter the garden. I gotta connect my wallet and not enter the garden. Can you hear this music?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, we're gonna rock with it. Sometimes you earn, sometimes you plant, sometimes you do both. Gotta zoom in on this bit. How it grows. Market rewards become something you can see, plant, and return to. Trade and earn. Finalize this. This music is started.
Dude, I can't. I just muted it. I can't. I'm sorry. Great though, but I can't do the talking and the music and trying to pay attention without laughing. I feel like I'm playing a game, like some kind of old school game. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm glad you got it muted on your end because I'm like, oh, here it goes. Mute site. Okay, cool. Okay. Trade and earn. Finalize Apple rewards and synchronize to your garden record. Reach 0.10 Apple. Every funded milestone is issued automatically as one wallet bond seed. Plant and grow. Choose one of the 5 plots. The seed moves through 4 on-chain stages. Harvest. Mature trees release a guaranteed 30,000 tree base plus attached. Okay, so it's like mining. But the only way you can mine is when you reach 0.10 Apple, you can plant a seed, and the seeds grow trees, which give you access to trees. So it's kind of like, this is kind of interesting. This is like a Ponzi situation, kind of similar to like stockbrokers, except there's no NFT. It's just the only way you can mine it or earn it is from planting seeds. It's pretty interesting. It's like mining early to a protocol. This is kind of interesting. So again, to recap this, trade and earn. Finalized Apple X rewards are synchronized to your garden record. I guess you can earn those through trading. Once you reach 0.10 Apple X, every funded milestone is issued automatically as one wallet bound seed. Now, what is this? Is this the Apple stock that you trade? Like you trade Apple stock, you earn rewards. With those rewards, you can get Apple X, which you then plant the Apple X. You can choose a plot. The seed moves through 4 on-chain stages. Okay, so the seed grows, and then you harvest it. And when you harvest it, the mature tree releases guaranteed 30,000. Looks like maybe even more. 3 base plus attached Cali bonuses. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like a mining protocol, honestly, in a sense. Transparency. The guard reserve harvest liabilities when seeds are issued. If convergence run short, the new seed issuance is paused. Treasury balance. Basically 200 billion, I don't know, trees. Okay. New seed capacity, 6,500 seeds, 999% solvent. Okay. System status. Indexer so this is kind of like a bit of a Ponzi is what I'm getting so far. Indexer, recollection, garden, synchronize, and Cali. But what's the reason I'd want to hold a tree is I guess the question. Because it's cool. Okay, I see the mining side's pretty cool, but why do I want to hold tree? Okay, so rewards distributed, Apple X distributed. Is this Apple stock? Is this like Apple X stock? Is that what that is? I'm assuming this is Apple X stock.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it. Call me dumb, but I'm not.
Dumb. Nah. Okay, so here I'm kicked back right now. Let me lock in. Let me lock in for y'all real quick. Okay.
Real quick. I'm also Yeah, go ahead and ramble. Go ahead and riff for a sec. I'm gonna try to also search for a thesis or something like the whole tree collect Apple stock to grow more tree. Oh, there it is right there.
Okay, every reward token on launch FS pay every reward token on launch SF pays you and stops there. Okay, so this is built on launch SF. We knew this. Tree opens up a new incentive layer. Hold tree, collect Apple X. Every 0.01 Apple X earns you a seed. Plant it, wait, harvest the tree. Spend the tree on gacha to make the next harvest come faster and land heavier. 20% of supply is locked as the growth treasury. The platform is in private testing, goes live soon on stocktree.fun. But again, like, so what? Who cares if I have more tree, right?
Well, I guess you have to use the tree to get access to the gacha. The gacha will get you more rewards faster.
But the gacha gets you more trees. It's like you have to have tree to get access to more tree, and that tree can, you can spend in the gacha. And if you spin well or whatever, the gacha gives you more tree, which is cool. But like, again, why would I care about tree? Does holding tree give me something? Do I get Apple rewards if I hold tree? Like, that's what I'm kind of confused on.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there.
Right, because I can earn a bunch of if I earn a bunch of nothing, that's great, but it's nothing. And if I can go and do a little gacha or whatever to make my nothing grow into more nothing, it's just like. But then again, now if tree actually represented like Apple or dividends or something, well then of course it'll make sense for me to grow this pie as much as I can. But right now it's like growing nothing to earn nothing. Hold tree, collect Apple X. Okay, so maybe holding tree does. Oh, it must be paired. Is it paired against Apple? Let me see the pairing real quick.
Yeah, it's paired against Apple stock. I got it pulled up on the website. I got it pulled up on the website here.
Okay. So pop that up. So then it's paired against Apple stock. Trading fees distribute that Apple stock to holders. Based on how much Apple you make, you earn more tree, which earns you more Apple. Okay, so it's I see. More tree, which can be used in the gacha to earn you more Apple. So it is tied to Apple. Okay.
Yeah.
Based on the trading volumes.
And this is a chart here. But yeah, like a 3% transfer tax on every transfer of tree on any venue is paid out to holders in Apple X pro rata, less a 2.5% fee covering the network costs of distributing and supporting operations. Tax collects until they're worth distributing, then go to wallets holding at least $20 of tree at that moment. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
Ponzi's are working to an extent right now.
Deploying nothing coin. No, I see what they're after. I think it's very interesting. Like I told you guys, I'm very interested in RWA Fi. So like any protocols, like Fire is a really good one, for example. You buy fire, you hold it, and then using some Uniswap V4 magic, you can then get rewards. So that I really like. So I like what they're after, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit of a Ponzi. Again, these things are only successful if there's trading volume there, because that trading volume directly equates to distributions to holders. I don't know. I think it's maybe more interesting than the usual. I don't know if I would like comfortably put size into this though. Probably not. But
Hey yo. Check out Prism.
Is Prism doing the thing? Aye.
Prism's doing the thing. It's doing the thing. I told you guys. I told you all about the vision that I see with Prism. Told you guys. I gave you all the full takeaways, and I'm trying to. I'm also trying to give myself a little time to accumulate. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put the. But for you guys though, I'll sacrifice my entry for you guys. I don't know about the rest of the timeline, but you guys here with us, on chain with us, in the mix, in the trenches with us, I'll sacrifice for you guys. D Farmer, dude, I know you see it. D Farmer is another great follow for you guys. Also very, very bullish on Prism as well. Good to see you here, brother. Appreciate you pulling through.
Glad again, return to mainnet, bro. I think V4 is a bid. I think V4 is a bit on mainnet. Seeing all these things start to run, seeing the price action of mainnet right now. FWA died and kind of came back, went to like 4 million. It's back at all-time highs now, around there. I kind of, excuse my potty mouth, I kind of fuck with the return to mainnet vision here.
Potty mouth, ooh.
Yeah. What can I say? Yeah, but like check out V4. We had them on. It's up 84% on the day.
Yeah, V4 is also doing phenomenal. I told you guys, bro. I'm not really paying attention to much else as far from a TA standpoint. I literally just put some fibs on it, 0.886, 0.786, deep value zone, bid, and literally just don't look back. We have the bottom bids. The bottom bids are here. The on-chain momentum is here. If you buy a bottom, it's not going to just die and roll over like it did over the course of the last 10 months in the bear market.
That's why I say, if you're trenching, you're playing the wrong game. Like, we're not in trenching season. It's dip buying. It's value buying season.
Yeah,
completely
100%.
Different games. Like you're not going to.
I guess it just depends on what you define as trenching too, because I look at a lot of people call us say that we're trenching.
This is true.
So I guess it all depends on your definition. I would say this to be even more specific: new pairs aren't the move. Sub 50K, 5 minutes old, it's just not the move. There's a ton of, very low risk, high reward opportunities out there. The setups are much better than what you'll get on an absolutely new pair. With new pairs, you have to establish trust with the market. The team still has to establish themselves, get a community together, things of that nature. V4 has been out for like a month or two now, at least no, not even a month. I think probably like 3 weeks.
Well, V4 has been out for a long time.
No, V4,
oh, you're talking about the platform. Oh,
yeah. So yeah, this V4 has been out for a couple of weeks, and it's the token's gone up, it's gone down, it's began to do its kind of sideways price action. People have had questions about the team. They've addressed that. They came on MCG. They kind of cleared the air. So they built up that trust in the market. Now it's time for them to go full steam ahead.
Catalyst for this, Solana chain and Robinhood. This is mainnet right now. So Catalyst is definitely there. Let me actually check out.
Man, you have literally seen the ups and downs on Prism. We literally have. We've actually we talked about Prism when it launched the first time, and when it went 10x on mainnet the first time. And I call that one at 700K live on stream, by the way, live on stream. It was at 660K or something like that, but it was sub 700K. And we caught the move on that, took profits at like, 10x or something like that. And I was monitoring it, waiting to re-enter. And then, the whole everything happened. And I said, look, I'm just going to monitor it. And I thought it died. Then it came back. It relaunched. I should have bought the first dip to sub 800K. I should have bought the first dip, but I did not. But that's okay. Can't catch it everything absolutely perfectly. But sub 5 mil
pull a chart up?
Prism is freaking solid, bro. I mean, I think Prism is now worth like $600 and something dollars, I believe. Let me see real quick. $740. I can say with confidence, or at least my thesis on Prism is this can easily go to $50,000. This can easily pull like a Wi-Fi. Because again, we're talking about buybacks and burns. It's not about market cap anymore. It's about circulating supply and market demand. And if it's constantly being bought back, right? Like if long-term traders or long-term investors are starting to take supply off the market, buybacks begin taking supply off the market. At some point, there's going to be like a deflationary shock to the system.
Bro,
that's my thesis.
Bro, what is this Kirkinator thing pumping? There was a guy named Kirkinator in our chat earlier. Dude, there's
MCG
a token.
Boy, so good.
There's a token called Kirkinator pumping. Is this pumping because of this guy?
Wait, can we look at it? Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
pull it up.
Kirkinator. Oh shoot. It's Andrew. Is it a stonk pair?
Yeah, it is. Palmer Lucky is so tapped in on chain, he's liking our tweets. Oh. Okay, so this is an official account. I'm like, that blew up. We didn't cover it at all.
Wait, what?
Palmer Lucky is
Palmer
liking
Lucky?
the founder of Andril. The little nerd guy that always wears his button-up Hawaiian-looking shirts, and he's
Hold on. Palmer Lucky.
Bro, these defense company founders are nerds, bro. They're straight nerds. It's hilarious. It's like, wow. Here, I'll pull up a picture, bro.
Yeah, I got a picture right here. So this guy's been like he's an oddball, you say?
Understandably. That'd be an understatement.
Okay, real quick. Let me just I'm trying to see. I'm trying to like look into the Luckinator. What's it called? Kirkinator thing.
Is this like maybe Palmer Lucky said this must be a Palmer Lucky meme or something? Like he must have said he's gonna name one of his friggin' missiles the Kirkinator or some shit. I don't know. What are we talking about, bro? What
I'm
are we
looking
doing?
it up. Dude,
he's an oddball for sure.
Some of the things we talk about is crazy.
Lots of the things.
If you're like just a normie, listening to this stream, like someone who like has no idea of anything.
Yeah, right. What's going on? So yeah, I don't know about that. That's a stock fund token though. Like paired to Andril's cool, bro. Like pairing something to a private company is sick for like a myriad of reasons. Because you can't even buy private companies. Like, firstly, having access to buying a private company in general is pretty cool. Let alone like pairing a meme to it. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool that this is enabled by pre-stocks, X-stocks, Tessera, some of these pre-IPO companies, pre-IPO providers.
Bro,
Jill
here,
said,
here I freaking go, bro.
Chat said AI is doing good. AI is pumping. Mr. Game call it. No, AI is looking great. That's the catalyst.
So
though.
this is the post. This happened yesterday. Mysterio Dilly is wait. This tweet is actually kind of crazy. What the heck? I'm just gonna real quick just look through their Twitter.
Bro, Ave, I've been talking about buy the dip coins. Pawns was obviously a buy the dip coin. Nailed. I think V4 was. I mean, maybe it still is. You know, AI's looking good, recovering perfectly. Yeah, we'll talk about that after this segment here.
Sorry, yeah. Let's just move on. I'm sorry, I can't. This reminds me of like George Droid. Yeah. It's really funny. I won't go out on a limit. I won't go out and say don't buy it. I'll just go out and say it's funny.
AI is pamping Mr. Game called Mr. Chill his quant some weeks back and posted the AI chart. The kind of recognition from a Giga Chad is a major flex. Congrats. You're good friends with Game. Chill's a quant, man. Yeah, look at AI doing well. Josh has been calling this as well. The boys have been bullish on it.
Bro,
not so much
sub
myself.
300K.
These guys have been crushing. Yeah, up is looking really good after that Stonk Fund partnership. I'm like on tilt because I held off on buying it. I've been watching this for a minute. Held off on buying it because the team wouldn't come on MCG. Not that they don't want to, they're going to, but they're just waiting for some updates before doing so. And just absolutely ripped. I mean, like, again, you're playing a different game, bro. You just bought and hold, literally dip bought here. Not even the bottom, like just generally buy a dip. You're up 300% still. Top to bottom, 600% in like a day or two. Like, this is the market we're in, boys. It is buy the dip season. I'm actually about to start an account and just run up 100 bands for y'all real quick because it's that fucking easy right now. You were asking about buy the dips though, Ave. I got you, bro. Okay, here's what I'm buying the dip on. I will buy the dip on Delta, probably, guys, to be completely honest with you. I'll buy the dip on. I like the narrative. V4 was a dip buy. Return to mainnet. I'm liking the return to mainnet thesis. It's really starting to get some attention. It really is. I'm starting to see people pick this up. We're starting to see runners. Fwa, of course, led this. V4 hooks is super hot. I think this has some catalysts on the horizon. You know, this probably looks decent if you get back in this range. I would have bought the dip here if I was you. But yeah, it's still pretty cheap, I think, relatively. Flaws looking great. Not a dip buyer on this, but like, again, just goes to show it's got down to $4 million market cap. It's back at 30 mil. So like mainnet's getting some motion. What else? I would buy the dip on Pawns, to be honest. Pawns is like the dominating launchpad. I mean, I'm not gonna say I would buy the dip. I did buy the dip publicly, but yeah, even if you come back and range down here for a little bit, like, still probably a really good bid for Pawns. It's gonna continue. It's one. It has one. So many launchpads have come and tried and failed. Even Uniswap at this point, Pawns is your winner. Yeah, that's probably what I would be buying. I mean, I look at up here at 141 million. I just need clarity on their tokenomics. Their liquidity is super thin. So I need more information on it, but generally, like, they're building in one of those buckets you need to fill out on Robinhood chain. Again, we go back to that time and time again. Fill out the buckets on a new chain. Up/Delta is building in this vertical. So 4.9 mil is a little bit steep. It probably gives us a nice correction like they always do, but it could be a very good dip buy. Yeah.
Bro, draw a fib, bro. Just draw a fib.
Hell nah. Why would I draw a fib, bro? I have eyeballs. I don't need something to tell me I'm at a 79% pullback. Like, I can just look at it. This is what I'll look for. Here, guys. This is what I'll look for. We got the pump right here. Guys, fibs are so... All fibs do is tell you how much something is pulled back. You just can eyeball it. So this is where we are right now on up.
You just destroyed my entire trading system. Like,
I know you like fibs, bro, but I say it. TA is just like, this is what I wait for, guys. You'll get the dip, okay, and maybe this aligns with the magical fib, right? Maybe this dip aligned with the magical fib. You know, hit the 79 golden pocket or whatever. All you need to look for, guys, is look at the compression. Look for the accumulation in a value zone. Like, clearly this is where price repriced from, right? There's accumulation happening here. So if we get back in this value zone generally area and price is compressing, like, this is where you buy. Like, drop your fib. That's cool and all, but I can just look on the chart and see, hey, when we get down to this area, if we start compressing and sellers are becoming exhausted, I'm going to buy. Like, so.
Wow.
I mean,
I can't believe he just like dirted on my entire like strategy.
You know better than to not ask me to draw a fib, Chill. You know I'm like not doing TA on this shit.
No, I know. I just have to. I just got to draw it out for the stream. I got to string it out for the stream. Entertainment purposes. Entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it's so funny. Chill and I are like complete opposite sides of the spectrum. Chill's doing all this TA. I'm doing like absolutely no TA and like almost purely fundamental analysis.
Dude, this guy's like, I'm like, yo, you know, here's a little downtrend, a little trend line, little fib extension, whatever. But like you talk to Dom and he's like, well, no, man, it's like it's trading like 1.8x PE and the NAV is like, you know, 3.75 and
clock me. Clock me. Hey,
he said, I got it on the whiteboard, guys. It's written on my Wait, can we talk about your poster? Can we talk about your hold on. Y'all see the boy. Yo, shout out the Black Bull.
Someone said
shout out the Black Bull.
Got the Black Bull looking over me, God willing.
Yeah. God willing. I saw that comment earlier. That was whoever said that was like so funny.
That was clown. Yeah, but this is good. It's good that we have Chill doing the TA. It's good that we have me basically calling TA moon signal. And it gives us a nice balance.
Yeah, man. Like, you know, we got a nice balance between like, you know, super high level financial thoughts and like, you know, super high level magical lines. You know, like we have a nice right curve, left curve thing going on here.
Yeah, exactly. RJ, I meant to say this is another one of my holdups here. So need to get clarity on tokenomics for Delta. Growth is going to take a little bit of time, although they're doing pretty well. Platform was down for me, so I didn't get to check it out and try it out. I need to see the platform. I need to use it and like, you know, test its abilities before bidding. But yeah, so anyone in the chat, if you guys have used Delta, let us know. Okay, I know it's very potty. It's been very potty today. I need to tone it back. I just had an entire conversation with Shaw from AI16Z, which, by the way, guys, is going to be a banger when that episode drops. It's a full cover to cover, like origin story of AI16Z to like class action lawsuit and basically it's sunsetting. It was crazy, bro. Shaw.
That's going to be a banger when it drops.
Bro, it's going to be a banger. It's going to be like our best viewed episode. So I'm trying to get that out. It's getting produced right now in the back end, but that guy has a potty mouth on him. I'll tell you that much. It was a great interview though, like raw emotion. You could tell he was like tearing up towards the end, like kind of talking about the rise and fall. And like, he talks about people he's trying to fight. He talks about like coming after Berwick. It's spicy, bro. It is so exciting.
Yo, can we get some, are we going to get we're going to get individual clips out of these, right?
Yeah. Should I give a preview? I'll give a little preview for the boys.
Preview.
Let's see. Can I pull up a file on the stream? And again, this is I don't know how to edit and stuff, so this was mashed together by me real quick just to kind of give like our editor an idea of what I wanted the intro to look like. Oh man, it's so good. Okay, how do I screen share a file? Video file.
If you send it in TG, I can do it.
I got you.
Oh, bet.
All right, boys. This is
cleanest start I think you can.
All right. This is just like a little teaser for you guys, bro.
Teaser.
It gets
teaser.
It gets spicy, man. Here, I'll even do this for you.
We had the cleanest start I think you could have as a fair launch project. Going from like my bedroom, just coding by myself, being kind of like a pretty shy programmer, like very introverted, to like, wow, I have to like meet 250 people who are all in a line, and I have to like, you know, put 3 minutes and be like, okay, got it. Okay, next person, you know, oh my God, it was like being in China, it added another billion to the market cap. And I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe any of this is happening.
Was there any thought in your mind like, man, the music might stop soon? Like, this is unsustainable.
Yeah, I was like, 5 million in liquidity for a $2.5 billion token.
I don't think y'all realize this went up to nearly $3 billion.
The whole thing crashes, right? The community was extremely brutal to us. Ansem posts AI16Z0 or AI16 0 or whatever. You know, it was looking bad. And that was just like really heartbreaking to me, because it felt like the mob was attacking me for my own art. Oh, I really hope nobody loses money, and I want everyone to be okay and sunshine and rainbows. But at this point, I'm like, I fucking hope they lose all their money, and they have to really look in the mirror and think, maybe I'm a gambling addict. Maybe I should stop blaming other people for my actions. Like, that's what we need. And if you see somebody complaining, you should be like, dude, suck my dick. Like, honestly, suck everyone's dick. You should go suck all the dicks. Like, you don't deserve to be here. You should get the fuck out of the casino, because you're going to lose your money and make it worse for everyone else. Like, thanks for the liquidity. Get the fuck out. He insider traded our token, dumped on our heads, and refused to give us the things that he promised. Like, I should sue him. We probably will at some point, because I think he created more capital value destruction than literally anybody. He made maybe $10 million off of our project. I would love to break his fucking face. What a piece of shit. What, like, to piss on the grave and support the people scamming the industry? Like, what a fucking piece of crap. They're going to personally sue me, and I have to respond and fight this. I don't have any money. Like, I didn't make any money. I watched my 25 mil turn to 40K. My wife's like, we have to pay taxes. You have to sell it. And I was like, I was so sad. You can't,
like, he almost
can't even imagine
like multiple times, like
how sad I was when I had to sell my tokens. But I had no choice. I had no money. I didn't have any other savings. And oh my God, it was.
Today I sat down with Shaw, the notorious founder behind AI16Z, the token that. But yeah, so it's a spicy one, bro. He gets into it. So
that's crazy.
I want to get it out to you guys ASAP. But.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's gonna be a fire episode, bro. That's gonna be a fire episode, kid.
Yep. So we'll see, man. I got the team on it. Unfortunately, our team's like, some of our team is out of town in New York doing some stuff. So output's been a little lackluster this last week for that reason. If you've been seeing a little less clips and output, that's why. Because a good portion of our team's kind of doing their own thing. So nonetheless, yeah. Do you want to go through like this Kyoto post? I mean, we're going on 4 hours on the day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm good if you're good.
Yeah,
guys, are y'all good if we're good?
Are y'all good if we're
good? Chat. If you say we can go, I'm down. But if you want us to stay and talk to you about something, let me know. You know. We can do whatever. We can do whatever for you.
We can do whatever. Ave, I saw you said, okay, solo summer. Yeah, MetaDAO summer, bro. MetaDAO summer in general. Solo summer, credible summer, all of the above, bro. Thoughts on CPT? Good bid for ace round announced. Yeah, look, I have a bag.
It's a slow cook.
It's a slow cook. I hold on to it. Like, you have to be realistic with yourself. If you go down the ace round route, would you rather have liquid tokens or would you rather have equity in the company? If you can convert tokens for equity in the company at a very cheap valuation right now for a U.S. defense company. Very cheap valuation. Will there ever be a liquidity event is what you have to ask yourself. How likely is it to IPO? How likely is it to do an RTO? These things are not easy. They're not easy. Patrick's done it. So like there's a chance there, but what is it? Like a 10% chance, 20% chance? So I kind of find more value in staying liquid. And I hold, but yeah, it's on a big dip. Also the question becomes like, what happens to the token if they do a RTO? What happens to the rest of the tokens who don't convert? So I don't know. It is what it is. I'm still in CPT. I probably won't buy anymore on this dip, but just rocking it out.
Yo, we got a tie. Abe says we stay forever. Darg says you deserve a break. We need one person to break the tie. And Darg, I see you in the chat now, bro. Like I think I've seen you for like I think I saw you yesterday. It's good to see you back again, bro.
So handsome. Something
what's
about
up to Crypto G369? Appreciate you joining us, brother. Fellow, what's up?
No, crypto G3, he makes a great point. Love this transparency in crypto, bro. Like, man, we're getting there. 2-3 years ago, when we were trading Ethereum back in the day, it was anonymous, 5 rugs. We've talked about this ad nauseum here, but it's so great to see now we have people come on. Even if we have people come on with our PFPs, Like we always prefer to have people come on with their face forward. So, but even if people come off the PvPs, it's nice to see founders actually talking, right? Because this was never a thing. And I think we're moving much more into a forward-facing industry, especially with the emergence of streaming, with the like a lot of traders kind of becoming forward-facing, starting this as the norm. I think is important. So,
you know, your boy has at times. I have at times. Dom has been there with me. Thought about it.
I would love chill to docs, bro. I think it sets a good precedence. You know, for the people joining on the stream, like if someone's, I guess, on the fence between should I join the PFP or put my face out there, you know, when it's two interviewers, I think that are doxed, they're more likely to put their face out there, right? So I think it's a good precedent. I don't know. I'm all for chill, you know, showing his cute little face.
This guy.
He mogs me though, guys. He mogs
no,
me.
don't dox just yet. Okay. Hear me out. Oh yeah, be safe. Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm thinking about, Darg. Like I'm all about like I really do love my privacy. Like I've always been the person to say like, give me the money but keep the fame type of thing. Like, you know, give me 30K followers, give me 31K followers, sure, but keep you know, I keep the fame. Like I don't want any of that. You know, like it's just I've seen a lot of people get like some, not a lot of people, but I've seen a few people get some, like have some bad stuff happen to them because, you know, people think that they're, you know, people track them down to, you know, get their wallets or whatever, you know, it's like, do I really want to?
It's food for thought.
You have a global audience. So it's not like, you know, this small little community. It's like a global audience. So yeah, we'll see. We need a big chill reveal party if he does docs. Okay.
Or maybe we leave some breadcrumbs for people to chill.
You know what? I've been actually thinking about that. Just some bread, like just dropping something, and y'all would never know what I drop. I would never say, but I just dropping something, and who knows? Like maybe you kind of, you make the connections, you know, you plot the dots and they lead back to the boy. But we'll see. I'll let y'all know. Maybe I'll let the Discord know. I gotta keep the blicky on you.
I got you. Well, you do know by now, chill.
Yo, facts though. Blicky got nothing on 8 people.
Yes,
Blicky got nothing on 8 people.
Yo, when you got the extendo in, you got something on about 16 people. I'll tell you that much. Look, we're in Florida, baby. We got open carry in Florida too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We can blick
anyone.
Even need
a license. I don't even need a license,
bro.
Yo, Abe Hollows. Abe said yes, it does. It can stand up on 8. Dom said it can stand up on 16.
And we're just talking about the handgun with a switch and extendo. Wait till you get the heavy artillery in this bit. 8 people is nothing, bro. You blow through them like nothing. Nah, gotta stay strapped though. That is the thing. If you're gonna be out there, you never know. You should be staying strapped for sure. Protect yourselves. That's why we live in America.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah. 8 ARs versus 1 extendo.
Okay, well now you're changing the situation here. If I got 8 goons pulling on me with fucking heavy artillery, like it's
why do you have the military coming after you? And then becomes the question.
Yeah.
Oh man, guys, I think we're gonna call it. Happened to you?
You got ran up on, bro.
Bro, you're still here. You're still here, bro. Tell us a story, real quick, before we end stream, bro. Real quick.
I got so many questions, bro. Yeah, who's pulling up on you with 8 ARs, bro? Is this because you were doxxed? Is this because you're a gangster, bro? Like, what's going on?
Real life Al Capone.
That's right, bro. Hey, if Chill keeps on playing, he can hire guns, baby. That's right.
Hey, that's true.
That's what we want. We want the artillery.
I look like one of those IRL streamers with like, 5 or 6 like tall, big gorilla dudes around them. Like, they take the hits for me, no problem.
No problem. I keep my shooters with me too, bro. My boy Josh right here. This is my little
Hey.
shooter.
I can see y'all back to back with the blinks pointed up.
Oh no.
Oh, just carry a grenade.
The classic James Bond. You got the pin pull. It's like, you know.
Oh shoot, Hallows, you're in the Discord? Yo, Hallows. So
damn, crypto
I'm thinking about doing the I'm thinking about doing a running up the voice the voice chat in the Discord. So bro, like, but definitely like in general chat, let me know. Like I actually do want to hear, like, that's been a very serious concern for me for years. Dude, I even worry about Ansem, bro. Like, I mean,
he's in Mamdani City too, bro. You get ran up on in New York, they'll take you for everything.
Yeah. So yeah, like let me know, because I really just want to learn as much as I can. I actually didn't go. I could have went to like two or three crypto conferences up until now, like to network and stuff. But after hearing the stories, I'm like, nah, like it's just not worth it. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth the the safety risk for me. So I just didn't.
That's the only time I get concerned, bro. Like I'll walk around, local city or whatever, not concerned at all. It's the crypto conferences where it starts getting sketchy, especially ones out of the States. Like I'm not worried. If I'm in the States, I'm really not worried. But if I step out of the States and you can't have a strap on you internationally unless you're taking a boat over there or something. That's when it gets sketchy, bro. That's when it gets a little sketchy.
100%.
Hey, and yeah, let's get the voice chat going. I think we should start, like, at least make a time, right? Like set a schedule. If you're going to be on at 6 p.m. to trench or just talk through some projects and shoot the shit, like let's get people active in there, because the value of a VC is second to none. I will say I have other chats I'm in VCs in, with a very close circle, but it's the best alpha. And I will hop in MCG. If y'all are in the chat in MCG, just hanging out, let's do it, bro. Let's talk theses, what you seeing, what you're not seeing. Like it's the best. I think to get people started though, like we need to start with like set times. Hey,
so here's what I was thinking. I was talking to Josh yesterday. What if we replaced one on-stream day, like a Trader Radio, for a VC day in the Discord? Like, and we just like trench, like no, like on stream, like, all this, whatever, like just purely trenching and just chatting it up in the Discord. Like instead of doing a live stream, at least I was thinking about that. Oh, dang. Crypto G369, Crypto G369 really loves this idea. VC is really great. I like that. Chill. Dang. Okay.
It's a good idea. The thing is, like, we can't stop. We can't take a day off. Like we can't take a weekday off. There's just too many projects that need to like get out there, and like, I don't know. It's like we can't slow down, but we can do it on top of it. Like, to be honest, I mean, also like we're all not 3 on every single day, right? I mean, so
yeah, that's
but we
true.
should
That's
do it.
true.
We should do it though, whether we have a live stream going or not that day. Like we should do it. Get your boys in there. Like, let's also get more, like, if you have a friend who's active and he's going to be in VC, like, let's get people in the community that are going to be active. And great. We have a great Discord right now. Honestly, our Discord is like, compared to everything else I'm in, it's very active and very high signal.
100,000%. 100,000%. Guys, wow. Great stuff. Great feedback from you guys. Dom is on grind time. Respect.
You know it, bro.
Yeah, true.
You guys
Y'all a
seen
big
my
deal
schedule
now.
yesterday, bro. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Dom is putting in heavy work. BD of the century out here.
Whole team, bro. Whole team. Whatever.
Look at the guy being humble. Look at the guy. With the voice, if we get organized, the live streams will be packed. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so
this is great. We love chatting with y'all. Like, we can sit here and just riff. And that's cool.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut stream here because it's 4 hours streaming, and honestly, I got to get to some trades that my portfolio is just like
waiting,
doing God knows what right now. But here's what we're gonna do. I usually stream 3 days on, 2 days off stream. Maybe on the off stream days, maybe I can see if I can, you know, like try to get something in. Usually I try to use the off stream days to like, you know, trade. You know, if I got some IRL stuff I gotta hit real quick, I'll do that. You know, get with some of my guys in my own personal network, you know, just network for the show and stuff like that. But I'll see if I can, like, you know, carve out for the VC. We'll see. Y'all really like that idea. So we'll see if we can get that done. But guys, appreciate y'all for joining us. 2,100 on stream today. 2,130 on stream today. You know, on a rando Tuesday. Really appreciate you guys. Real quick, you already know what we're gonna end the stream on.
Bro,
let me just share this last thing with y'all.
AI is at 9 million, ups pumping. Like it is by the dip season. This is when the show becomes valuable. Like hopping on here and identifying good dip buying opportunities. I can't stress that enough. Sorry,
I'm telling y'all, bro. Actionable insight, bro. Actionable insight. Like it's not just like a corpo buzzword, you know, in the bio. We're like that. We know ball. We're like that. Okay, we see you, Dom. Okay. But yeah, make sure you guys go to excuse me. Make sure you guys go to @MCG Live. Hit the follow button. We're here 12 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday. We'll see you guys in the VC. We're gonna chop it up there as well. Make sure you go down before you leave. Hit the like and retweet button on the bottom of the stream. Make sure you let the boys know that we're here. Come on, you see the projects that we're interviewing. You see the people that we're talking to. You know, we actually. So let us know how. Let us know if you have any feedback. Appreciate you guys being in the chat. See you guys tomorrow for another banger episode with MetaDAO. We got a whole eco day with them. But until then, see you guys in the next one. GG's.